What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. Strongest Uchiha 1 Su Chapter 1 Swimming with Beauty, Great Gift Pack for Beginners. Kawasaki was originally a high school student in the 21st century. He loves life, loves watching anime such as Hokage and Shinigami, and loves swimming with his girlfriend. A few years ago, he made an appointment with his aunt, who was a few years older than him, to go swimming at the beach together. Unexpectedly, they encountered a tsunami and disappeared directly. When Kawasaki woke up, he had appeared in this strange and familiar Hokage world. And he was also a member of Uchiha. Since he came here, he had to make the best of it. Kawasaki could only survive in this world. A few years later, Kawasaki finally got a position as an acting elder. Ding! Kawasaki finally heard the clear and pleasant sound of the system as he wished. Ding! The God-level lottery system has been loaded. Close black lens bracket. Initial mission. Prevent Uchiha Shisui from being killed. Reward. Mangekyō Sharingan. Newbie gift pack has been distributed. Host can check it at any time. Kawasaki hurried to the tribe land while examining the newbie gift pack in his hand. That's all. This is too stingy. Oh, although my heart is full of complaints. But living is the hard truth, it's better to have it than not. Kawasaki quickly calculated the current situation of the Uchiha family. It has been more than 4 years since the Nine Tails Rebellion. In recent years, the suspicion of the Uchiha in the village has deepened, and restrictions have been set everywhere, making it difficult for the tribe members to move forward. The police department is particularly thankless, the proud Uchiha members. Often rubbed against others, and complaints were like snowflakes in winter, endless. But this is not the worst. The most fatal is Uchiha Shisui, the current strongest of the Uchiha. He has been controlled by Konaha, and I am afraid that his eyes have also fallen into Danzo's hands. And he did not consider the future of the family. In order to calm the storm, he naively committed suicide. He missed the great opportunity for Uchiha to rise in vain. With his passive response, all the pressure finally fell on Itachi's shoulders. Itachi's thinking was forced to go to extremes. 2 years later, he would wield the butcher knife against his clan members. In the eyes of Uchiha Kawasaki, Fugaku, the clan leader, was really unsatisfactory. He was always passively restrained by the emotions of his clan members and had never made any wise decisions. After all, under the layout of the second-generation Tobirama, Uchiha, as an executor, had long forged deep resentment with other ninjas. It was hopeless to compete for the position of Hokage, and the vote of confidence would definitely not pass. The time and energy invested in the struggle for power and profit were all in vain. Advertisement after the Nine Tails Rebellion, Konoha's suspicion of Uchiha was even greater than before. Surveillance and suppression were common, however, the proud Uchiha will never bow their heads and obey. The loyal clan members are running around for this reason. Now the contradictions between Uchiha and Konaha are like fire and water, and many things are no longer controlled by Fugaku. According to the time calculation, Shisui is in danger of assassination by the root. If Shisui cannot be rescued, his life will be in danger. After all, except for the Hokage lineage, Obito does not want to see the living Uchiha. At that time, there is no other way except to escape from Konaha. Kawasaki walked into the ancestral hall, which was already noisy. The fourth elder said to Fugaku, who was resting with his eyes closed. Clan leader, our police department has received more and more complaints, and many major ninja clans are dissatisfied with us. If this continues, the relationship between Uchiha and Konaha will only deteriorate. The fourth elder is a typical moderate, and it is his job to deal with complaints from the police department. So he has the most say in the increasing complaints. Fugaku closed his eyes tightly and remained silent, but the third elder beside him took over the conversation. It's getting worse, so what? Since the Nine Tails Rebellion, we have been ostracized, and there are spies everywhere to monitor the Uchiha. The situation has been getting worse in recent years. Isn't the tower outside the clan built to monitor us? Patriarch, it's time to make up your mind, the fourth elder shouted. Uchiha Takuya. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you want to incite change? The third elder sneered and asked back. Change? Konaha was originally built by Uchiha and Senju. So far, let alone Hokage, there is not even an Uchiha in the Elders' Council. What else do we have the right to speak except the guards? Everyone talked about it, and the majority of them agreed. That's right. We need a voice, we need power. Patriarch, please give the order. The fourth elder was so anxious that he was running around. Usually, his biggest helper was Uchiha Shisui, but Shisui was not there today. Fugaku was unpredictable and did not speak for a long time. Suddenly, Fugaku opened his eyes suddenly, and everyone followed his gaze. Only then did they realize that Uchiha Kawasaki had arrived at the ancestral hall. Since he was already here, he had to make the best of it. He walked towards Fugaku with a stiff upper lip. Fugaku said, Kawasaki, you are now the acting elder and have a say. I want to hear your opinion. Opinion? Kawasaki was speechless for a moment. What opinion? Shisui is facing a life and death situation, and you are holding a meeting here, Kawasaki said anxiously. Damn, you are still dithering when the situation is urgent. Advertisement. Fugaku's pupils shrank. Kawasaki, are you serious? Kawasaki waved his hand fiercely. No time to elaborate. Chi, Guangdu, Yuta, take your team and follow me. Izumi, you follow too, maybe you need treatment. Shisui has a gentle personality and many friends in the clan. The people Kawasaki named were all close friends with Shisui. Several people stood up suddenly and rushed out after Kawasaki. Fugaku sat in the first position with a solemn look. The third and fourth elders stopped arguing. Although the fourth elder was conservative, no one would sit still at the critical moment of life and death. Fugaku was silent for a long time and then slowly exhaled. Uchiha Takuya. Fugaku shouted suddenly. Here. The third elder was shocked, that was his name. He was older than Fugaku, and people usually called him the third elder. But when Fugaku called him by his name, it meant that Fugaku would act as the patriarch. You immediately organize all Uchiha warriors and prepare for battle. The third elder's face was stern, as if he had smelled the smell of gunpowder. Nanhi River. Plop, the water splashed, and the cold river water made the seriously injured Uchiha Shisui sober for a short time. But he was too seriously injured, and when he was discouraged, he still missed his family. Can his death change everything? Can Itachi shoulder the responsibility? Shisui's world gradually dimmed, and his body slowly sank into the turbulent Nanga River. Found it, Elder. Shisui is here. Two Uchiha jumped into the water and pulled the unconscious Shisui out. Elder. Shisui's eyes were dug out. Kawasaki had expected it. Izumi, treat and check Shisui immediately, and be sure to save his life. Uchiha Izumi immediately stepped forward to treat Shisui's injuries. Because of Itachi, she was also Shisui's friend. Seeing Shisui covered in bruises, Uchiha Izumi was shocked. Shisui is a master of the clan, how could he be injured so badly, and the Sharingan was stolen? This is in Konaha village. Time is running out, and there is no time to summon more medical ninjas. Kawasaki remembers Uchiha Izumi Grandmaster's medical skills. Under emergency treatment, Shisui's vital signs finally stabilized. Ding, rescue Shisui mission completed, host obtained, Mangekyō Sharingan pupil power, Susanoo ability unlocked in advance. Spring Festival reading. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now, event time, January 28th to February 12th. Chapter 2 Susanoo. Kawasaki finally breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that he had rushed back from outside the village. He ran without stopping for a moment. Finally, Shisui's life was saved. Increasing strength is also a life insurance, so Mangekyō must be obtained first. As soon as he obtained it, a cold breath slipped into Uchiha Kawasaki's eyes. Is this Yinten chakra? Can Susanoo be unlocked in advance? It is still unclear what my pupil technique is. The Uchiha who came together to rescue Shisui were all shocked when they saw Shisui's empty eye sockets after gathering. It is a great shame that anyone dares to touch the Uchiha's reverse scale until now. A-hole. How dare you steal our Uchiha's eyes? You hurt Shisui like this, I will never let you off easily. Elder. Who attacked Shisui? As Kawasaki's vision improved, his perception ability also increased. He turned his head suddenly and looked at the woods behind his tribe. There were hurried footsteps in the woods, and in the blink of an eye, 4 Anbu in white rushed out. As soon as a white Anbu rushed out of the woods, he saw a group of Uchiha standing by the river. The target he had worked so hard to find was lying on the ground receiving treatment. But why were there so many Uchiha people next to him? The man made a gesture and asked the 3 Anbu behind him to stop. Root. The eyes of the Uchiha people were stern. The Uchiha family knew what this organization was doing. Almost at the same time, the Uchiha people knew it. Shisui must have been attacked by the Root people. Everyone drew their knives and rushed straight to the Root people. The Root team leader walking in front felt a sinking heart. Among the dozen Uchiha people, 3 were masters of 3 Tomo Sharingan. I'm afraid he won't be able to wait for reinforcements. The wishes of Lord Danzo must be carried out to the end. The team leader made a gesture, and the team members behind him also looked ready to die. The 4 men did not retreat but rushed towards the Uchiha. Advertisement. The 4 men kept changing their formation, making it hard to tell what they were up to. They soon approached. Fire style, great fireball technique. The 2 Uchiha quickly formed seals. Before the close combat, they used the great fireball to make a fake attack. The figures quickly approached with the help of the flames. The other Uchiha also threw shurikens, earth style, earth flow wall. The Roots quickly built an earth wall to block the great fireball technique and shurikens, and the 4 hid behind the wall. When they jumped out again, they threw dozens of blasting talismans. Boom, boom, boom. Such a close explosion basically meant that both sides would suffer. The Uchiha tribe scattered from the smoke and dust in a somewhat embarrassed manner. I didn't expect the Roots to be so cruel. The Roots were not having a good time either. They were closer and more seriously injured. The 4 rushed out with bloody wounds. They almost risked their lives to get involved. At this time, the captain of the Root was chopped into smoke by the Uchiha. Oh no, shadow clone. Bang. The ground exploded, and he jumped out, his body covered with blasting talismans. He rushed to Shisui, who was lying on the ground with a desperate momentum. Let's die together. At this time, only Izumi and Kawasaki were left standing beside Shisui, and the other Uchiha had no time to support. Boom! The huge explosion shook the other Uchiha tribe members away. Elder! Elder! The smoke and dust dissipated, and only a golden skeleton was seen protecting Shisui and Izumi firmly behind him. The surging chakra spread out like a tornado. Kawasaki stood in the middle with his hands folded on his chest, and the Mangekyō Sharingan in his eyes slowly turned. Advertisement, what? What is this? Susano. Is this the legendary divine power of our Uchiha? The elder has Mangekyō Sharingan. Gundam is really cool. Kawasaki nodded with satisfaction. It would be great if it could be an eternal Mangekyō without blindness. Kawasaki still cherishes his pupil power very much. Seeing that the crisis was resolved, he immediately closed the Mangekyō Sharingan. His pupil power had just been improved, and he had no time to understand his pupil skills. Fortunately, Susanoo unlocked it in advance. At this time, the combat members in the Uchiha settlement gradually gathered. The tribesmen wearing the Uchiha family emblems were enthusiastic, running around, carrying equipment, and wearing combat uniforms. The fourth elder Uchiha Yangping's mouth was a little dry. I don't know how many Uchiha people will sacrifice tonight. Can we really make it? The ordinary Uchiha people were uneasy. When they thought about the possibility of fighting with the village, they felt uneasy. The third elder Uchiha Takuya could not hide his excitement on his face. Clan leader, the combatants have been assembled. Please give the order. Fugaku clenched his fists. Wait for Elder Kawasaki to come back first. Konaha should have started to act, right? As Uchiha Fugaku expected, the news leaked out as soon as the Uchiha began to mobilize. Not to mention that the buildings around the Uchiha settlement were full of Anbu people. The third Hokage put down his pipe silently. What is the situation now? Anbu lowered his head and reported. All combatants of the Uchiha clan are gathering, and Uchiha Kawasaki and 13 clan members are missing. Uchiha Shisui is missing, and Uchiha Itachi is also missing. The third generation was silent. He really didn't want to go this far. It seems that Shisui failed, or... Sighing, the third generation made a decision and his expression became firm. He took off the Hokage robe, and inside was a combat uniform that had been put on. Pass the order, the whole Konaha is in a state of emergency. Notify all ninja clan leaders, gather all Jonin and elite Jonin, and surround the Uchiha clan land. Chapter 3 Mission Reward, the Hyuga clan. Thump, thump dense footsteps came from the rooftops, and ninjas passed over the houses one after another. It would be rude to do this normally, but the Hokage had just issued an order that the entire Konaha village was in a state of emergency. Therefore, there were ninjas jumping everywhere on the roofs of Konaha, and the people were hiding in their homes. In another prominent family in Konaha, the Hyuga family. The strongest warriors Heishi and Hizashi were leading the family elites to the Uchiha territory. Hizashi couldn't help but ask Heishi, brother, is the Uchiha clan really going to rebel? Heishi frowned. Call me clan leader outside. Hizashi paused for a moment. Yes, clan leader. Heishi paused slightly, and his tone softened. The third generation asked us to gather and surround Uchiha. There may be a tough battle tonight. Heishi was full of worries. As long as it was an internal dispute, there would always be casualties. Not to mention for a clan like Uchiha that is one of the best in the ninja world. Uchiha members are all-rounders, and many of them are fanatics. Heishi looked back at the more than 20 Jonin who followed him. I don't know how many people can go back after tonight. These are the precious strength of the family. Hizashi, if we fight later, you have to stabilize the clan members and don't rush to the front. What about the third generation? Heishi waved his hand. If Uchiha falls, it may be our turn next. Hizashi was shocked, looked around, and then nodded silently. Danzo-sama, the third Hokage, announced that Konaha is in a state of emergency. And issued a gathering order, asking all members above Jonin to gather and prepare for battle. Do we want to participate? Oh, Danzo, who had just changed his eyes and completed the examination, suddenly came to his senses. What happened? All Uchiha fighters are gathering. Danzo stood up and touched his newly replaced right eye. It looks like we can completely get rid of the Uchiha tonight. How many Uchiha eyes can we collect tonight? Hiruzen, I told you long ago that the Uchiha is untrustworthy. Fortunately, I took the initiative and got rid of Uchiha Shisui. Take our people and go to the Uchiha territory immediately. Yes. The lights in front of the Uchiha family gate are bright, and countless Konaha elites have surrounded the Uchiha. Standing in the front are the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, Udadan Ikaharu, and Mitokado Homura. Behind are the clan leaders and elites of various famous ninja clans. Hyuga, Akamichi, Nara, Yamanaka, and other members of major clans have arrived one after another. Almost all of Konaha's Anbu and elite Jonin gathered here, surrounding the Uchiha in layers. Everyone's face is solemn. Advertisement: the clan leaders of each clan have their own ulterior motives. Creak. The door of the Uchiha family slowly opened. Hundreds of fully armed Uchiha tribesmen, led by Fugaku, slowly walked out of the door. In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on Fugaku's face, with different expressions, but all of them were surprised. Fugaku, who is usually a peacemaker, what happened today? The tribesmen behind Fugaku saw that the door was surrounded by many Konaha elites, and they couldn't help but make a commotion. However, seeing that the tribe leader did not speak, the noise gradually subsided. The atmosphere seemed to solidify for a while. At this time, a messenger bird flew in the sky. Fugaku took the message and saw that his eyes flashed with endless murderous intent, but then he restrained it. Under the gaze of the third generation, Fugaku seemed calm and looked around. Seeing that Danzo had not arrived, he narrowed his eyes slightly. Hokage-sama, why did you surround my Uchiha clan land? The third Hokage frowned. Fugaku, you gathered so many Uchiha clan members, and you still come to ask us, what do you want to do? Uchiha Fugaku's expression was not the same as before, and he had no respect for the third Hokage. What do I want to do? Uchiha Shisui disappeared after going out today. We are now going out to find Shisui. Is there a problem? The third Hokage frowned. He thought of countless excuses for Fugaku, but he didn't expect him to answer like this. And as far as he knew, Shisui was indeed missing. The third Hokage was speechless for a moment. At this time, Mitokado Homura beside the third generation spoke. Nonsense. You Uchiha Shisui is missing, so you have to gather all the people of the clan? Do you think we are fools? Fugaku did not respond. At this time, a path was opened in the crowd of Konaha, and Shimura Danzo came. He still had bandages on his forehead, right eye, right shoulder and right hand. Uchiha Fugaku, I think you Uchiha are going to rebel tonight. Fugaku saw Danzo appear, and a murderous look flashed in his eyes. He said in a deep voice, Shimura Danzo, you dare to appear in front of me? Itachi reported to me that Uchiha Shisui disappeared after you called him this afternoon. You said this matter has nothing to do with you? Hidden in the crowd, Itachi frowned. He had not reported to his father. Danzo had a blank expression on his face. It turned out that even Itachi was unreliable. Then he scolded loudly. Nonsense, I didn't see Shisui this afternoon, you are slandering. Fugaku smiled coldly. Really? Fugaku's chakra surged all over his body, and his eyes became even colder. The surrounding ninjas became nervous. While the crowd was still agitated, a road opened up in the back, and Uchiha Kawasaki led a group of Uchiha tribesmen into the road. Ding! The mission has been updated, the ending of the coup. Mission requirements. Protect all Uchiha tribesmen from harm in the coup. Mission rewards. I Amplifier X1, Uchiha Deputy Chief. There was no time to look at the rewards. Since the mission required protecting all tribesmen, we couldn't do it tonight. Kawasaki walked in front alone, with sharp eyes. The Uchiha people behind him were silent, and occasionally looked up at Kawasaki with eyes full of fanaticism and admiration. Advertisement, two of them carried a stretcher, and it was Uchiha Shisui lying on it. The others dragged the bodies of several root members. Those bodies were scarred and damaged in many places. The third Hokage looked gloomy. Fugaku, what do you mean? Uchiha Kawasaki brought the people back to the tribe, turned to face the third Hokage, and directly blocked the Fugaku tribe leader behind him. Kawasaki sneered. Third generation, you are still playing dumb at this time. Danzo summoned Shisui this afternoon and took his Sharingan. We went out to look for Shisui because he was missing. What's wrong? Then he whispered something in Shisui's ear, and Shisui struggled to sit up. There were countless scars on his body, and anyone with a discerning eye could see it. The most serious one was his eyes, which were left with only 2 empty holes. The Sharingan had been dug out. The surrounding ninjas were in an uproar. Danzo took away Shisui's Sharingan? Shut up, Danzo is the Hokage's assistant, don't talk nonsense. Shisui said weakly. I received a message from Danzo in the evening, asking me to meet him. I didn't expect that he coveted the Sharingan of our Uchiha clan and took my eyes away when I was not prepared. The third Hokage has a close relationship with Shisui. This afternoon, he reported that he wanted to use distinguished heavenly gods to stop the Uchiha coup. I didn't expect that the meeting again would turn out like this. Danzo's face was as gloomy as water when Shisui stood up, and he didn't say a word. I don't know what he was thinking. Everyone present was in an uproar, and they all looked at Danzo with suspicion. In the ninja world, taking away the bloodline of others is an irreconcilable hatred, let alone people from the same village. Shisui is known as the instant body Shisui. He made great contributions to Konaha in the Third Ninja World War and is a genius of Uchiha. Uchiha Shisui has always had a good reputation, and his words are highly credible. The third-generation grandfather frowned. He knew Shisui's temper. For the sake of peace, even if he encountered such a thing, Shisui would not make it public. What happened to Shisui? In fact, Kawasaki secretly told Shisui that if he lied, the Uchiha clan would immediately rebel. But if Shisui told the truth, Kawasaki promised that there would be no rebellion tonight. Danzo's face changed slightly, and then he said calmly, I didn't mean to provoke a conflict between Uchiha and the village, but things have come to this. I did summon Shisui tonight, but he intended to attack me. After I saw through it, I had to defend myself and fight back. Kawasaki looked at Danzo with a mocking face. Are you going to use this to coax a child? Danzo was furious. You are just an acting elder, how can you talk to me? Fugaku listened to the report of the Uchiha members in the back. I was surprised and happy to learn that Elder Kawasaki had opened the Mangekyō Sharingan. The tribe hasn't seen a strong man with the Mangekyō Sharingan for many years. What's more, Kawasaki is so young. Fugaku raised his head and said loudly, Elder Danzo, Elder Kawasaki has made great contributions in rescuing Shisui today and has been elected as the deputy chief. Is he qualified now? Chapter 4. The Power of Kawasaki, the third Hokage. The Uchiha tribe members behind him were in a commotion. How did Elder Kawasaki suddenly become the deputy chief? Then they thought that the chief was supporting Kawasaki, so they quieted down again. Danzo sneered at Fugaku's words. It is true that Shisui tried to assassinate me tonight. My Anbu can testify to that. Everyone present was not an ordinary person. Everyone knew what Danzo was like. If Shisui really wanted to assassinate, he should have reported it to the third generation. Why did he pretend to be confused right from the start? Kawasaki laughed and said, It is also true that Elder Danzo tried to assassinate the third Hokage tonight. All Uchiha can testify to that. The Uchiha tribe members behind him burst into laughter. That's right. I witnessed it, me too, I also witnessed it. The surrounding ninjas tried to hold back their laughter and looked at each other sideways. The third generation's face changed. They roughly understood the situation in their hearts, but they still cleared their throats. Since Shisui has been found, Kawasaki, Deputy Chief, this is a pure misunderstanding, let's go. Misunderstanding? Uchiha Kawasaki's expression changed faster than turning a page. Third Hokage. Shisui's Sharingan is still in Danzo's hands. You call this a misunderstanding? Danzo snorted coldly. After the assassination failed, are you now trying to frame someone? Kawasaki turned around and winked at Fugaku without even looking at Danzo. Then he shouted sternly. Third Hokage. You Hokage faction, actually want to openly seize our Uchiha clan's Sharingan? Uchiha Fugaku understood Kawasaki's eyes and said in a deep voice, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Don't return Shisui's Sharingan, my Uchiha clan will never give up. The Uchiha warrior behind Fugaku silently opened the Sharingan. For a moment, countless blood-red eyes stared at the third Hokage. The third Hokage's face was livid, and he cursed Danzo in his heart for causing trouble. Now the whole Konaha has to pay for it. Danzo, hand over Shisui's Sharingan immediately. Danzo's mouth twitched, and he didn't expect the situation to develop to this point. But he was still making a final struggle. I did have a conflict with Shisui, but his Sharingan was not taken by me. Advertisement Kawasaki narrowed his eyes slightly and then took out a kunai. The third Hokage said in a deep voice, Kawasaki, calm down. However, Kawasaki slowly put the kunai on his Konaha forehead protector. Once it was drawn, he would become a Konaha traitor. Kawasaki shouted to all the ninja clans. Listen to all Konaha people, this is the oppression of Konaha's high-level officials. They will seize your bloodline, secret techniques, and property. Hyuga clan, you are next. The elites and pillars of each clan, even the clan leaders, looked unhappy. The Hyuga clan was even more agitated. After all, their Byakugan is also a well-known bloodline limit in the ninja world. Heishi and Hizashi looked solemn, watching coldly how the third generation would respond. The third Hokage changed color greatly. If he really forced a ninja clan to rebel, the whole ninja world would laugh at the Hokage. All families will no longer trust the Hokage faction. This is shaking the foundation of the Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen, listen to me, immediately, right now, hand over Shisui's Sharingan. Otherwise, we Uchiha will perish with Konaha. This is Konaha forcing us Uchiha. Uchiha Kawasaki's expression was distorted, and the whole person was almost crazy, like a madman. The third Hokage felt cold all over. Uchiha could rebel, but they could not rebel under coercion. If he ordered the action today, the Uchiha clan would die, but Konaha would also fall apart. No ninja clan would work for someone who coveted their property. At this moment, all the ninja clans surrounding the Uchiha clan had no intention of fighting, and only stared at Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen with cold eyes. Especially the Hyuga clan, because if the Uchiha clan fell, the next one would be the Hyuga clan. Although other ninja clans did not have Sharingan or Byakugan, they also had their own family secrets and property. Uchiha's Sharingan was not safe, so theirs would not be spared either. The third Hokage sighed and said, in view of Danzo's improper behavior. Remove Shimura Danzo from the position of Hokage assistant. Danzo, hand over Shisui's Sharingan immediately. Danzo was a little unbelievable, his eyes were as cold as a snake. Sarutobi. The Uchiha clan cannot be trusted. Shisui's Sharingan is too dangerous, I will never hand over the Sharingan. Enough. Danzo, I am the Hokage, advertisement. Danzo gritted his teeth. Okay, I will hand over the Sharingan immediately when I return. The third Hokage turned to Kawasaki. Is it okay? Kawasaki sneered. You still want to play tricks at this time, Shisui's eyes are clearly on you, what are you going to get when you return? Danzo's face changed, and he wanted to explain. Kawasaki waved his hand to stop him. Don't quibble, we Uchiha have a secret technique. Shisui's eye is in your right eye. Danzo looked embarrassed, he really didn't expect Uchiha to have this secret technique, if he had known this, he would not have come. At this moment, he was helpless. under the stare of everyone. Danzo gritted his teeth and untied the bandage on his right eye, and inside was a Sharingan. The ninja clan was in an uproar. Their own high level, the assistant of the Hokage, actually took away the Uchiha's Sharingan. And he immediately installed it in his own eye. The Uchiha clan naturally did not have that kind of secret technique, but Kawasaki concluded that Danzo would directly transplant Shisui's right eye after obtaining it. Even if it was not Shisui's eye, Danzo's right eye was undoubtedly Sharingan. Danzo was both resentful and angry, but he had already aroused public anger, and all the ninjas looked at him with unfriendly eyes. Who knows if Danzo will attack his own family next time? Under the cold gaze of Uchiha Kawasaki, the third Hokage quickly sent a medical ninja to remove the Sharingan from Danzo's eye. Fugaku waved his hand and asked someone to take Shisui's right eye and give it to Izumi, who was guarding Shisui. Let her confirm whether it was really Shisui's eye. At this time, Uchiha Itachi quietly walked out of the crowd and stood beside Shisui. He had returned since the family began to gather, but he did not stand out when his father spoke before. He wanted to see what his father was really up to. Was he blocking the Hokage's path to let him return to the family? Was the family really going to rebel tonight? Just as he was confused, the development of the situation was completely beyond his expectations. Unexpectedly, his father was only a supporting role this time, and Elder Kawasaki handled everything. But now it seems that his father is right, and Elder Kawasaki handled it just right. Chapter 5: Obtaining the Eye Technique, Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu. Kawasaki glanced at Itachi, then turned to Danzo and asked, "Where is Shisui's left eye?" Uchiha Itachi stood aside, his mouth slightly moving, but he didn't say anything, and even held down Shisui, who was about to speak. Danzo was furious. "Kawasaki, don't go too far. I only got Shisui's right eye. I really don't know where his left eye is." Fugaku and Kawasaki looked at the third Hokage at the same time, as if to say, "You can solve it yourself." The third Hokage sighed. "Danzo, hand over Shisui's left eye." Danzo was so angry that his whole body trembled. At this point, it's like yellow mud falling into the crotch. It's not shit, but it has to be treated as shit. "You said you didn't dig out Shisui's left eye. Who would believe it?" "The left eye is not with me." Danzo had no choice but to bite the bullet and admit it. Uchiha Kawasaki knew in his heart that Shisui's left eye was in Itachi's hand. He did this with the intention of gaining some benefits for the Uchiha clan. At this time, Shisui used chakra to sense and confirmed that it was his right eye, and then transplanted it back. After many battles, eye digging, eye implantation, and surgery, Shisui fell asleep exhausted. Uchiha Itachi was silent on the side. Shisui ran around for the peace of the family in the village, but was plotted against by Danzo. And his father, who had never been strong, would stand up for Shisui and even break up with the village. In his opinion, Elder Kawasaki was just a spokesperson pushed to the front by his father. His father must not want to completely break up with the village, so he asked Elder Kawasaki to come forward. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully influencing Uchiha Itachi's ideas and greatly changing Itachi's life trajectory. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Eye Technique Tsukuyomi 1, Eye Technique Amaterasu 1. Ding! Congratulations to the host for greatly changing the life trajectory of Uchiha Fugaku. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Eye Technique, Illusion X2. Oh, changing other people's lives can also gain skills? Unfortunately, it can only be used once. Both Fugaku's eyes are illusion eyes, so it can be used twice? Same as Shisui, but the effect is not as good as distinguished heavenly gods. Ding! Positive transformation ending completed, advertisement. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Eye Technique Amplifier X1, greatly enhances the power of the Eye Technique. What kind of broken system is this? How come it is limited to one time, and it's gone after it's used up? System, can you do it? Kawasaki complained in his heart, but the system continued to broadcast indifferently like a robot. Host obtained the position. Uchiha Deputy Chief. Uchiha Deputy Chief. All Uchiha people recognize your identity as Deputy Chief. Hey, it seems that my empty title of Deputy Chief has been formalized? No, is the title of Deputy Chief really a product of Fugaku's whim? Ding! Host has obtained the status of leader of the faction. The faction framework is loading. Close black lens bracket. Ding! Development goal. Get rid of Konaha's control and become independent and self-reliant. Rewards will be given according to the degree of completion. Close black lens bracket. Kawasaki accepted the current situation. A series of system prompts sounded in his mind, and Kawasaki looked at the rewards and new tasks, thinking. The third Hokage promised that Danzo would send Shisui's left eye immediately after returning. At this time, Kawasaki's eyes turned to Fugaku, and Fugaku's heart sank. Why'd I feel like I have become a scapegoat? But in front of outsiders, Fugaku also cooperated tacitly. In this case, I will wait for good news in the clan. Before dawn, I want to see Shisui's left eye. Fugaku snorted coldly and waved his hand to signal the Uchiha to disperse. Many Uchiha people were dissatisfied and talked about it. The whole clan gathered together and ended up with a lot of thunder and little rain. However, due to the presence of many outsiders and elites from various ninja clans, all Uchiha people only discussed privately and left with Fugaku. As the heavy door of Uchiha slammed shut, the third Hokage breathed a sigh of relief. He waved his hand exhaustedly. Thank you for your support. The village has lifted the state of emergency. Everyone can go home. The ninja clans looked at each other, and there was an unusual meaning in their eyes. They said goodbye one after another, and they were no longer so respectful to the third Hokage in their words. With a few swish, the other ninja clans left quickly, leaving only the Hokage faction. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to say much. Today's incident made the Hokage faction lose face. At the same time, it also caused a huge gap between many people in the village and the Hokage leadership. Advertisement. Everyone was alert to Danzo, and everyone knew that Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen were in the same group. Maybe this incident was instructed by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Everyone in the ninja world knows that Sharingan is a treasure, but no one dares to touch Uchiha. Who would have thought that the top leaders of the family would actually covet the family treasure, which is simply unbelievable. The third Hokage was exhausted, and Danzo usually helped him do a lot of dirty work. But today's incident was purely Danzo's own decision, and had nothing to do with him. Not only Danzo, but the entire Hokage faction has lost its reputation and its trust has fallen to the bottom. Hyuga clan land. Hyuga Heishi, who had just returned to the family, hurriedly summoned the elders of the main family. Elders, what do you think about what happened in Uchiha today? Hyuga Heishi, who was sitting in the first seat, looked at the elders. The elders of the main family looked at each other. The first elder spoke first. Heishi, I think we should be more careful about the Hokage faction. The second elder continued. The Hokage has long been dissatisfied with our Hyuga family's main branch system. This Uchiha Shisui incident is also a warning to us. Because of the Hyuga family's main branch system, the combat power is mainly concentrated on the branch members. And due to the constraints of the caged bird, all branch members only obey the main family. Therefore, the Hokage faction has very little control over the Hyuga family. On the surface, they are one family, but in fact, everyone with a discerning eye understands that. In case of trouble, the Hyuga branch will only obey the orders of the main family. Hyuga Heishi nodded. Danzo has been hiding behind Sarutobi Hiruzen for many years, and he has secretly cultivated countless people. But his ambition is growing day by day. This time, it is hard to say whether he acted on his own or the third generation acquiesced. The elder said lightly. That is not important. The key is that Uchiha's tough counterattack this time shows the change of Fugaku's thinking. Maybe he has leaned towards the Hawks, and a young deputy chief has emerged. It's quite interesting. Chapter 6 Kawasaki's Strength. The second elder took over the conversation. Tomorrow, the Uchiha clan will probably fight for more rights and interests. In my opinion, we should support them. Heishi nodded in agreement. Tomorrow, I will talk to Fugaku about this matter. After closing the gate of the clan, Fugaku dismissed the Uchiha who were full of complaints. Only a few senior leaders were left. The third elder Takuya, the fourth elder Hinata, Kawasaki, and Shisui, who was still on a stretcher. Unlike those indignant Uchiha, the third elder was very appreciative of Fugaku's actions today. He let Kawasaki rush to the front as a pioneer, and he was behind the scenes to make plans. Although he usually has a low-key style, he is naturally not an ordinary person to be an elder. Just now, he was surrounded by Konaha's elite, and his own master Shisui was seriously injured. Obviously, it was not a good time to launch a coup. At least, it would take until Shisui recovered from his injury before it was the right time. Fugaku looked at the admiring eyes of the third elder Takuya. He thought with a headache, even if I said that this was not arranged by me, you would not believe it. Fugaku did not pay much attention to the third elder, he was eager to confirm one thing at this moment. Kawasaki, you opened the Mangekyō Sharingan? Everyone was shocked. Kawasaki actually opened the Mangekyō? Kawasaki nodded slightly, and the three magatama in his eyes instantly changed the pattern, and the pattern was different, with a knife outside and a flower inside. The surging pupil power made Fugaku feel a little depressed. How could it be possible? Fugaku could not hide his shock. Kawasaki was gifted, only 19 years old. He was already a leader with the 3-tomo Sharingan. Except for the slightly weak illusion, he was quite good in other aspects. Later, because of a momentary anger, he asked Kawasaki to complete a difficult task and promised to let him act as an elder after the task was completed. Unexpectedly, Kawasaki actually opened the Mangekyō Sharingan. Ha ha ha, good, good. Fugaku was so excited that he could hardly control himself. As the holder of the Mangekyō Sharingan, he knew the difficulty of awakening Mangekyō. He had been walking on thin ice for these years, and had been carefully hiding his Mangekyō, just to give the family more protection. Unexpectedly, someone in the new generation had awakened Mangekyō. Fugaku patted Kawasaki's shoulder excitedly. What I said before still counts. You are now the deputy clan leader. In a few years, when you are familiar with government affairs, the position of clan leader will be handed over to you. Fugaku's excitement was not without reason. During the Third Ninja World War, the ninja villages of various countries were in chaos. Advertisement. Although Konaha was located in a fertile land, it had fought against Cloud Shinobi, Rock Shinobi, and Mist Shinobi one after another, and had suffered heavy losses. Uchiha also lost many talents. The family urgently needed such a young Kage-level strongman to take charge. Facing the oppression of the Hokage faction, Kawasaki's style of action shows that he is also a very opinionated person. Kawasaki's previous strategy of using him as a gun made Fugaku feel that Kawasaki was both courageous and strategic. You know, if the action is not careful, the Uchiha may face the disaster of extinction. And Kawasaki took advantage of Shisui's matter to attack Danzo and stood on the side of justice. Not only did Danzo suffer loss, but also made the Hokage faction lose trust. Fugaku was more and more satisfied with Kawasaki. But he didn't know that Kawasaki acted like this because he was sure that there would never be a conflict. As for the matter itself, if Shisui revealed it, Uchiha would become a victim, and other ninja clans would not be able to make things worse. Moreover, even if they really took action, Fugaku, Shisui, Itachi, and himself. There are 4 pairs of Mangekyō Sharingan, enough to sweep away the major ninja clans that are not united internally. Seeing Fugaku so happy, Kawasaki couldn't help but complain. What's the big deal about a pair of Mangekyō? Don't you know that both your son and Shisui are Mangekyō? In order to save his life, the mission must be completed. Kawasaki put away the Mangekyō and cleared his throat. Then he said to everyone, now Uchiha is in turmoil. Since the clan leader values it so much, I will not refuse. I have some suggestions for the development of Uchiha. Everyone restrained their smiles and wanted to hear what Kawasaki had to say. First of all, I want to explain the ability of my Mangekyō. It's called Sky's Gap, which can peek into the future. Kawasaki's words were like pouring cold water on oil, causing several people present to widen their eyes. Peek into the future? He made it up casually. After all, when people are in the arena, their identities and abilities can be self-packaged. In fact, his Mangekyō pupil technique has not yet awakened. If a rebellion occurs tonight, the Uchiha clan will be destroyed. The 2 elders' faces suddenly change. The 4th elder, Hinata, was about to speak but was stopped by Kawasaki. 4th elder, the peace you seek cannot be achieved, because in 10 years, the entire Konaha will be destroyed. What? Itachi, who was always indifferent, also opened his eyes wide in surprise. Advertisement, deputy clan leader, is what you said true? The 4th elder's voice was a little dry. Kawasaki nodded. 4th elder, 3rd elder, clan leader, don't resist, let me show you the future world. His Mangekyō turned quickly, a wave spread, and several people seemed to step into the painting. The screen showed various clips, including the scene where Fugaku used Sharingan to control 9 tails but the coup failed in the end. There was a scene where the Uchiha clan was completely wiped out. There was also a scene where a huge shockwave destroyed the entire Konaha village. Kawasaki selected several future scenes to play to everyone. Of course, his Mangekyō cannot see into the future, but it uses Fugaku's eye technique, illusion. This is just his guess, not the truth. But Kawasaki is familiar with the plot, and there is nothing wrong with using these as fragments of the future. This is perfect for gaining people's trust. Kawasaki found that there is no condition to activate the system skills, and no consumption is required. You can even increase chakra or eye power on your own to strengthen the system skills. From this point of view, the skills granted by the system are finally useful. He stopped Mangekyō. Although there were not many pictures displayed, it brought great shock to the 3 people. Does the clan leader also have Mangekyō Sharingan? The 2 elders looked at Fugaku, and Fugaku nodded gently to confirm. The reason why Shisui and Itachi were skipped was because some of Itachi's actions were not suitable for outsiders to know. After all, Itachi has not yet had the idea of destroying the family. Wait for Fugaku and the 2 elders to come back to their senses from the illusion. Kawasaki said. The 2 elders and the clan leader all hope that Uchiha will be strong, but the previous path is undoubtedly wrong. The 3 fell into silence. From those pictures, it seems that the position of Hokage is no longer so important. While everyone was thinking, Kawasaki turned to look at Shisui and Itachi. Shisui, you are so naive, your actions are simply foolish. Shisui opened his mouth to speak, but was interrupted by Kawasaki. Itachi, how old is Sasuke this year? Itachi was a little confused, but still bowed his head and answered. Sasuke is 5 years old, deputy clan leader. Look at me. Itachi and Shisui looked up, and sure enough, Kawasaki opened Mangekyō again. Chapter 7 Everyone is shocked. A clip from the future. The 2 did not resist and entered the painting in the blink of an eye. After Shisui died, the Uchiha clan was wiped out by Itachi, and even Izumi, who grew up with Itachi, died that night. The village simply left Sasuke alone, and most of the things in his house were taken away, and then Sasuke ran away. Because of Itachi's death, Sasuke became gloomy and twisted. He just wanted to avenge Itachi, but he died during the 5-cage meeting. Kawasaki deliberately only played the video to the 5-cage meeting, so that Itachi and Shisui thought Sasuke died at the 5-cage meeting. He saw Itachi kill his parents and destroy his family with his own hands. In the end, what he got in return was Konaha's indifference. Sasuke died, and the clan was gone. Shisui and Itachi were stunned and speechless for a long time. Itachi had experienced what happened with Shisui, and he was already extremely disappointed with the upper echelons of Konaha. Now seeing the future, there is no pressure from Shisui's death. He has completely stood on the side of the family. At this time, Shisui felt that he was so naive and ridiculous, and was so weak that he wanted to commit suicide. Kawasaki watched helplessly as the eye technique, illusion, in his attribute column slowly disappeared. Sure enough, there was no more times to use it. Kawasaki said slowly, Uchiha is our own home first, and then a part of Konaha. Without Uchiha, what does Konaha have to do with us? We have always wanted to sit on the position of Hokage, but we just want recognition, but the strong do not need recognition from others. The whole clan is gone. What is the meaning of the name Uchiha? Everyone chewed on Kawasaki's words. Yes, the people of Uchiha are gone, so how can there be the glory of Uchiha? There have been many powerful ninja clans in the ninja world for so many years. But once the clan is exterminated, no matter how powerful it was in the past, it will sooner or later be blown away by the wind. Itachi, I know you have been providing information to the third generation. Itachi was silent for a while. I'm sorry, you are right to desire peace, but your method is wrong. Itachi, the clan has a lot of things to deal with next. You should quit your job in Anbu immediately and come back to help the clan. Once you enter Anbu, you can't just leave whenever you want. After all, Anbu knows too many secrets, and if the Hokage disagrees, the Anbu identity will not change. But Itachi is now loyal to the clan, so there is always a way. Advertisement of course, even if Itachi doesn't resign, the third generation will no longer trust him. Itachi agreed. Fugaku was very relieved on the side. When he was the clan leader, Shisui and Itachi didn't agree with him. Fugaku also asked Itachi to go undercover in Anbu, but he didn't expect Itachi to provide information to the third generation. Fortunately, everything is getting better now, thanks to Kawasaki. Fugaku is already thinking about when to give up the position of clan leader to Kawasaki. Ding, host faction template is loaded. Close black lens bracket. Kawasaki clicked on it, and at the top were Uchiha Fugaku and himself. Below were the names and avatars of everyone in the Uchiha clan. Kawasaki clicked on Itachi's icon, Uchiha Itachi. Loyalty. High, good at, combat, lurking. Clicked on combat, and it listed in detail the taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, etc. that Itachi was good at. Lurking. There's no need to say more about that. Listed separately next to it were Mangekyō Sharingan and related eye techniques. Kawasaki clicked on Fugaku again, and Fugaku didn't have loyalty here, but an intimacy, which was also high. The others were similar to Itachi. Now it's good, everyone in the clan knows their strengths, and it's convenient to use in the future. Clicked on the pages of the two elders, and in terms of their strengths, the fourth elder was in charge of internal affairs, and the third elder was in charge of management. Kawasaki was very polite. The next plan will depend on the two elders' help. The two elders lowered their heads. Deputy clan leader is polite, please give me your instructions. At this time, Kawasaki already had a rough idea in his mind. What does the family rely on to develop? Money. Other ninja clans have their own ways of making money. Akamichi barbecue restaurant, Nara pharmaceutical, and maintenance of the medical system. Except for the Uchiha's own weapons from the cat country, the Tenden family almost bought all the ninja tools in Konaha. Other families also have their own survival businesses, otherwise it would be difficult to develop if they could only rely on taking tasks to make a living. The Uchiha clan does not engage in production, and the family business earned during the Sengoku period is getting smaller and smaller. The fundamental reason is the lack of talent. No one does the corresponding work, so naturally it can't be done. Advertisement. Uchiha has always been a battle maniac, and no one studies these. It was possible to rob during Sengoku, but now that the 5 major countries are stable, it is easy to fight if you rob again. The income has been much less in recent years. Although I am richer than ordinary ninjas, it is not easy to grow and develop. Now that we have a power template, we can see everyone's talents. The road ahead will be easier. Kawasaki said in a deep voice. After I opened Mangekyō, I watched the future clips many times. Konaha's peaceful days will not last long. There will be countless disasters in the future. So we have to make plans early, and the emotions of the clan must have an outlet. We can't guard the land of the guard team anymore. Being a law enforcer is naturally not popular. Neither leniency nor strictness will please people, and it will make the Uchiha people more dissatisfied. Fugaku knocked his hands. Kawasaki, you dare to say it, we will fully cooperate. Fugaku's words are equivalent to letting Kawasaki do it completely. Others have no objections. After all, Kawasaki is strong and smart. Kawasaki pointed to his eyes. My Mangekyō saw the future fragments, not just battles. There are also many successful business in the future. We only select some people now, vigorously develop the economy, and slowly get rid of Konaha's control. Ouch. Several people present really didn't expect that foreseeing the future can be used in this way. If there is enough money, the clan can handle its own affairs without being restricted by Konaha. Judging from the disaster that Konaha suffered later, economic independence is very important. Several people nodded in agreement. Kawasaki continued. Of course, this is not a matter of one day or one night, but fortunately we still have time. During this period, we have to give up all the power of Uchiha and make the Uchiha conspiracy theory a joke. Seeing everyone's puzzled faces, Kawasaki specially explained the meaning of conspiracy theory in a simple way. Everyone suddenly realized it, and they admired Kawasaki even more. This brain. Don't say, it's really amazing. Chapter 8 Shisui's left eye is with you. Kawasaki waved his hand. The current Konaha guard is harmful to us. The first step is to give up the power of the guard. Fourth Elder, Danzo suffered such a big loss. He will definitely find fault with us in the power of the guard tomorrow. Suspend all the Uchiha clan members who have been complained and recall them to the family. If anyone asks about it, you just delay it again and again. The four old seniors admired Kawasaki thoroughly and patted their chests to assure. Deputy clan leader, please relax. I am good at this. Third senior, you have been committed to fighting for the position of Hokage by force. What do you think after watching those future clips? The third senior smiled bitterly and shook his head. Indeed, he has been trying to seize the throne of Hokage by force. But in those future clips, even if he controlled 9 tails, he could not change the fate of failure with Sharingan. Coupled with the ninjutsu that destroyed the world, Super Shinra Tensei, he was already discouraged. Since Konaha is afraid of us taking power, let's just throw away all the power. Chief Fugaku, you have to find a suitable opportunity to resign from the post of Minister of the Police Force. For these powers, we have offended many people, and made too many people forget the good of Uchiha and think that everything is deserved. Now, we will retreat to advance. Third senior, next, you have to organize all those radical elements who are dissatisfied. Third senior frowned. Kawasaki, what are your plans? Not everyone can swallow this breath. For some Uchiha, retreating to advance is simply not feasible. Therefore, there is a hawkish faction within Uchiha. We Uchiha need an uprising and a heavy blow. Kawasaki smiled meaningfully. Otherwise, how can we eliminate the negative influence of Uchiha, and how can we let people feel at ease to go out and develop? The three elders looked at each other, but these people are not so easy to convince. The three of them didn't know that Shisui had already opened the Mangekyō Sharingan, and had a unique eye technique, distinguished heavenly gods. At this time, Kawasaki directly winked at Shisui. Shisui understood that the deputy clan leader Kawasaki wanted to use his distinguished heavenly gods. Then, he explained his distinguished heavenly gods' ability to the clan leader and the two elders. Another pair of Mangekyō. The two old seniors were shocked. Mangekyō Sharingan has rarely been seen for many years, and now 2 pairs have appeared at once. Fugaku's heart was even more magnificent. Kawasaki, Shisui and himself now have 3 pairs of Mangekyō Sharingan in the clan. If it weren't for pushing Konaha to the front to take the blame, the chances of a direct uprising being successful would be high. No wonder Danzo had his eyes on Shisui's. If Fugaku knew that his son Itachi had also opened Mangekyō, he would have fainted from excitement. After the 2 elders left, Kawasaki asked, Itachi, Shisui's left eye is with you, right? Itachi replied, as expected, the deputy clan leader knows everything. He summoned the ninja crow and took out the bottle containing the Sharingan. Advertisement, Shisui, we are going to unite the Uchiha clan next, so you have to get better soon. Yes. Shisui knew how heavy the burden on his shoulders was. Now there was a way to preserve the family and avoid conflict with the village, and he had to go all out. Deputy clan leader, I suspect there are outsiders eyeing our Uchiha. Kawasaki nodded, are you talking about the person who investigated the secret stone of the shrine? Itachi was stunned. He didn't expect that the deputy clan leader had heard of it. This person will surely stir up a huge wave in the ninja world in the future, but I am not sure of his true identity yet. He has appeared many times beside the secret stone of the shrine. I suspect that the words on the stone have been tampered with. Don't believe it. Kawasaki gave a shot in advance. Yes, deputy clan leader, I remember it. Late at night, Itachi walked out of the door after the discussion and saw Uchiha Izumi sitting on the bench next to him. Izumi had already dozed off on the chair. Itachi remembered the death of Izumi in the illusion. His heart suddenly twitched. Itachi stepped forward and patted Izumi's shoulder. What are you doing here? Quan looked up in a daze. Is it Itachi? Then she came to her senses. No. It's okay, I'm going back. Quan's cheeks flushed, and she hurriedly stood up and wanted to leave. Quan. Itachi called her. Huh? Quan looked back, and looked lively and cute under the dim light. Itachi was silent for a moment. Let's go eat 3-color meatballs tomorrow. Thump. Thump. Quan's heartbeat was particularly clear in the silent night. The sudden happiness made her head smoke. Okay, okay. Quan covered her face as if she was escaping. See you at the river tomorrow. Itachi looked at Quan who was going away, and a rare gentle smile appeared on his face. Root base. Sir, the 3rd generation has sent someone to take Shisui's left eye. Advertisement. Danzo gritted his teeth and said, go to the warehouse and get a Sharingan. The root member said, but we only have 4 Sharingans left. Danzo slapped the armrest heavily. Don't I know? If you don't hand over an eye, you can't pass Hiruzen. Yes. Danzo became more and more angry as he thought about it. What a shame. Danzo's face was gloomy. He had never been calculated like this before. I suffered such a big loss today. It's like stealing a chicken and losing a rice. I didn't expect that Fugaku, who has always been cowardly, would actually hide a needle in his cotton. He pushed an elder to be a mouthpiece and openly broke with the village for Shisui's eyes. We have to teach them a lesson. The sky was slightly bright, and the fourth elder Uchiha Yangping, who had only rested for a few hours, came to the Konaha police station early in the morning. Every morning, the police station staff would come here to report and take shifts. If necessary, a small meeting would be held. When he walked to his desk, a pile of complaint letters were waiting for him. Most of them complained about violent Uchiha law enforcement. His usual practice was to transfer the complained Uchiha members to another part of the village. This not only solved the complaint, but also the complained Uchiha would not be punished. But today was different. He picked up the seal with "suspended for reflection" and stamped it on the complaint letter. In order to improve efficiency, the four elders specially assigned several shadow clone to work together. No wonder shadow clone was called a magical skill. After a while, all the complaint letters were handled. Yangping carefully checked that according to his way of handling, about 80% of the guards were dismissed. They were all hawkish Uchiha. After all, they were tough and it was common for them to offend people. Some non-mainstream factions were also dismissed. After everyone gathered, Yangping took the list and read out, Yuta, Yangdo, Naoto, Yao, Shi. Everyone I just read out, due to the complaint, you are all suspended for reflection. Yangping's voice has not finished, and the people below are talking. Fourth elder, is it a mistake? We are suspended? Yangping glared, and everyone immediately shut up. Idiot. What are you arguing about? You have other arrangements, now all report to the deputy clan leader. Then he gave the people below a special look. These people are all hawkish clan members, and they usually follow the lead of the third elder. After Kawasaki's tough demand to return the Shisui eye last night, they saw Kawasaki's obvious hawkish style, and everyone understood it in their hearts. Chapter 9 Kawasaki's Plan. Therefore, when the fourth elder glanced at them, the people below began to imagine. They thought that the deputy clan leader might make a big move, so they walked away silently one by one. After the hawks left, the hall of the police station became empty. Those who stayed were either members of their own, doves, or the neutral group. Yangping arranged. Everyone here, today's patrol area will be changed to our Uchiha family's industrial area. No matter what happens in other places, you are not allowed to get involved. Protecting the Uchiha family business is the most important thing, do you understand? Although the people below are all doves and relatively rational Uchiha, they are usually troubled by the villagers' criticism. When they heard that they didn't need to worry about other places and only looked after the Uchiha's territory, everyone happily agreed. After assigning the patrol routes with full enthusiasm, everyone went out for patrol. As expected by the third generation, Uchiha Fugaku proposed a high-level meeting in the morning. The attendees included the third generation, Hyuga Heishi, Uchiha Fugaku, and Uchiha Kawasaki. Danzo had a big fall, hiding in his root organization, and not showing up. Seeing Fugaku bring Kawasaki here again today, several people thought, Fugaku is not really cultivating this guy, right? Today, Fugaku has regained his usual respectfulness and said to the third generation, Hokage-sama, please forgive me for being so anxious last night that I resorted to the worst strategy. The third generation was pleasant on the surface, but they were worried in their hearts. Didn't Fugaku come here to ask for punishment today? Fugaku, you are too polite. No ninja clan would be able to remain calm if they encountered such a thing. Fugaku nodded, stepped aside, and let Kawasaki speak. Kawasaki spoke in a steady tone today. The clan leader knows that there are many conflicts between our guards and the villagers, which will be detrimental to Konoha's security in the long run. The clan leader has started to reform the guards, and has suspended the officers who were complained by the villagers for violent law enforcement. The third generation echoed, what is the Uchiha singing? How many Uchiha members have been complained by the villagers for violent law enforcement? Is there anyone in the Uchiha who has not been complained? I'm afraid 80% of them are suspended. All of them have been suspended? Kawasaki continued. Many Uchiha members have been suspended, and there are vacancies in the guards. Today, I invited the Hyuga clan leader to come, hoping that the Hyuga family would support the guards to keep it running normally. What? The third generation and Heishi were completely stunned. You know, the guards have always been the private domain of the Uchiha. Advertisement 99% of the team members are Uchiha people, and outsiders can't get involved at all. This also led to the concentration of Uchiha's sphere of influence here. Fugaku invited outsiders to join the guard team, which would undoubtedly greatly weaken his control over the guard team. The influence on the whole village decreased, which meant that he was getting further and further away from the position of Hokage. Could it be? Fugaku wanted to use this to show that he was not keen on power in order to seek preferential treatment from the village? Or did Uchiha and Hyuga begin to join forces? The third generation thought so, but had not yet made up their minds. He said official words. I am very pleased that Deputy Chief Kawasaki considers the relationship between Uchiha and the village. I have no objection, you can talk to Heishi in detail. Heishi was not stunned by this unexpected benefit. The first thing he thought of was what Fugaku was up to. But the benefits were delivered to the door. Was it a trap? The Hyuga family also wanted to try it. After all, the Hyuga family is now weakening and its power level in Konoha is also declining. If they can gradually control the guard team. Heishi gave Fugaku and Kawasaki a friendly smile. Kawasaki also left. We Uchiha have been thundering for a long time, now it is your turn to test the depth of the water in Hyuga. Konaha Sanjo Street is a bustling commercial district. There are pubs, restaurants, hot springs, and casinos. Crowded places are prone to friction, especially commercial streets. Usually, there is a Uchiha guard team patrolling here. But today, they were nowhere to be seen. At this time, a drunkard was thrown out of the pub, reeking of alcohol. The pub owner came out. You acted wild after drinking a few sips of wine, and you still want to eat a free meal? The drunkard burped. What's the big deal, isn't it just that I owe you some wine money? He dares to be so arrogant even though he has no money, teach him a lesson. The boss called 2 waiters and beat the drunkard with fists and feet. After beating for a long time, the drunkard stopped only when his nose and face were swollen. The drunkard was beaten with injuries all over his body, and there were many people watching the excitement around him. Usually, the guard team would come soon after a fight, but today it was rare that there was no guard team, so everyone just watched the excitement. The drunkard got up after a while. Seeing so many villagers pointing at him, he was very angry. He cursed fiercely and squeezed out of the crowd. The crowd gradually dispersed when they saw that the excitement was gone. Unexpectedly, the drunkard came back in less than 10 minutes. He was holding a pot in his hand. No need to guess, it was still filled with wine. But his expression was a little dull and his behavior was mechanical. The drunkard did not drink it, but blocked the mouth of the pot with a cloth, lit it and threw it directly at the door of the tavern. With a bang, the alcohol quickly ignited the door curtain. At first, the fire was not big. But in the dark, a root member wearing a mask and white clothes secretly made a seal. Wind-style great breakthrough, he controlled the amount of chakra and blew it out. A gust of wind blew along the fire. The wooden structure, the fire spread immediately with the wind, and the surrounding area was in chaos. After burning for a while, a chunin passed by and put out the fire with water style. In this short time, the door of the tavern was blackened and the sign was completely destroyed. Although no one was injured, the tavern will definitely be closed for a few days. After smashing the wine pot, the drunkard suddenly sobered up and didn't understand what happened to him. But now that things have come to this, he can only slip away into chaos. The tavern owner was furious and cursed. Damn the guards, they hang around when they have nothing to do, but when something really happens, they can't find anyone. I want to complain about them. The door of the tavern was burned, and the owner couldn't do business, so he hurried to the Konaha guard headquarters. There were still many people queuing outside the complaint room, but they all came out quickly, with some strange expressions. Soon it was the tavern owner's turn, and he pushed the door in. What he saw was the 4th elder of Uchiha, Yangping, who was sitting leisurely. Elder Yangping. I want to complain. Uchiha Yangping took out the complaint form and put it in front of him. What do you want to complain about? The tavern owner said, I want to complain that there was no one from the guard team to take care of my place when something happened. Oh, where is your place specifically? What is the name of the store? It's on Konaha Sanjo Street, Qingshui Tavern. Let me see. Yangping took a stack of complaint forms and flipped through them. Found it. Chapter 10 Kawasaki's strength improves. Obito. Yangping pulled out a complaint form. The security team on your side is the 9th security team, led by Uchiha Yangshu, Ora and Rikudo. But they are all suspended from their duties now, so you don't have a security team to maintain order for the time being. What? Why are they suspended? The tavern owner was stunned. Would the Uchiha family be suspended? You have to ask yourself. A week ago, someone made trouble in your tavern, and you taught that person a lesson. The 9th security team arrested all of you, and you reported them for abuse of violence. Have you forgotten? The tavern owner suddenly remembered that this was the case. He asked several guys in the store to deal with the troublemaker together, but the Uchiha security team came and stopped them. He felt aggrieved, so he reported those Uchiha people. Well, I think they are actually pretty good. Can I withdraw my report? Elder Yangping waved his hand. That won't work. Our deputy clan leader has set new clan rules. All Uchiha members must get along with the villagers. Our clan members make mistakes and it is right to suspend them for reflection. The tavern owner felt so bitter. In the past, when someone made trouble, the Uchiha came quickly. Why did he have such a bad hand? Then, when will the new security team be in place? Elder Yangping comforted. You don't have to worry at all. We will deploy personnel and arrange the security team as soon as possible. After coming out of the Konaha security team, the tavern owner always felt that something was wrong. Usually, he felt relaxed after reporting, but today he made a complaint. But it was like a fist hitting cotton, and there were thorns hidden in the cotton. The tavern owner left in a sullen mood. Elder Yangping felt relieved after handling complaints for a day, and vaguely understood the purpose of the deputy clan leaders doing so. Usually, when dealing with these complaints, he would be so angry that he would be dizzy and half dead after a day. Today was different, everything went smoothly. Those people came in a rage and left in disgrace. The elder couldn't help laughing. What is the Uchiha family doing? Obito appeared in the Uchiha clan territory wearing a mask. He watched the whole thing last night, but he didn't understand why Fugaku did this. Just for a Sharingan of a clan member. In the end, he took back the Sharingan and suspended so many people in his security team. Is he trying to show his goodwill to the third Hokage? Is Fugaku on the side of the reformists? However, there are many more people in the clan territory now, so be careful next time. Let Mist Shinobi come to investigate the situation. No useful information was found, the space was distorted, and Obito left. Mist Shinobi Ching was often laughed at after being scared away by Uchiha Shisui last time. Advertisement: now the Great Elder has ordered Ching to investigate Konaha again and bring back Nine Tails Jinchuriki if he has a chance. Now Konaha's Uchiha security team has been completely replaced. Shisui's Sharingan was taken away by Elder Danzo. Although Danzo later returned the Sharingan, Shisui and the village should have completely broken off. These news about Konaha reached Mist Shinobi in a short time. You know, Mist Shinobi and Konaha are separated by several villages and on an island, and the journey is long. The people of Mist Shinobi are accustomed to such timely intelligence, because this Great Elder has risen to power with outstanding intelligence. The people of Mist Shinobi think that the Great Elder controls a secret force, specialized in investigating the ninja world, so the Great Elder has a high prestige. After receiving the order, Ching felt that the opportunity was rare, and gathered the team members to set off immediately. Danzo's root organization was fanning the flames everywhere on the street, or create chaos, but no Uchiha security team came to take care of it. The damaged merchants all went to the security team headquarters to complain. But the Uchiha clan seemed indifferent. The unified reply was, the staff had been suspended after the complaint, and there was not enough staff. And it was impossible for Uchiha's own store to have any trouble. Several teams of Uchiha security teams were wandering around, turning a blind eye to the conflicts on the nearby streets. Many merchants simply complained directly to the third generation. The third generation looked at the thick stack of complaints on the table, rubbing his eyebrows. So, Uchiha suspended 80% of the team in one day? Anbu responded. Yes, Uchiha started to deal with the staff who were complained before this morning, and all of them were suspended for reflection. Now the security team is short of staff, and there are frequent public security problems outside, but no one cares. What is Kawasaki doing, or what is Fugaku doing? The third generation has no idea of Uchiha's intentions. This kind of trivial matter does not seem to be revenge on Konaha. After all, if the situation escalates, Anbu will naturally intervene. Besides, Kawasaki has already informed the Hyuga family in advance and contacted them to let the Hyuga family take over. Third generation took a puff of his pipe. How did the Hyuga family and Kawasaki talk? Advertisement: Uchiha Kawasaki gave all the security team deployment and patrol routes to the Hyuga family without reservation. It's just that the Hyuga family needs to dispatch personnel to familiarize themselves with the routes, which will take a week. The deployment and patrol of the security team has always been the responsibility of the Uchiha family, and the Hyuga family does need time to deploy. Third generation knocked on his pipe. Anbu, pay more attention this week. If something big happens, you can intervene directly. When the Hyuga family takes over, you can withdraw. Yes. Uchiha clan land, training ground. Since most of the security team members were suspended, the four elders kept them all in the clan land. Many security team members had nothing to do and came to the training ground to practice spontaneously. Hey, Yangshu. Uchiha Yangshu, who was practicing shuriken, stopped. It was his teammates Ora and Rikudo. What's wrong? These two have been partners for a long time and have a good relationship in private. They can be considered friends. Ora smiled and said, you didn't go out and didn't know that the Qingshui tavern was burned down today? Yangshu raised his eyebrows. The tavern on the 3rd Street? Yes, there was a fight with the drunkard today. The drunkard was not convinced after being beaten, so he turned around and burned his store. He can't open his business for a while. Rikudo was a little gloating. No one stopped them? Ora shook his head. How could anyone stop them? All the Uchiha people from the 1st to the 7th streets nearby have been suspended. Then they won't complain. Lu Ren laughed. Complain, of course, but it's useless to complain. We don't have anyone in the security team now. Usually, those bosses are very happy. They either say that we don't enforce the law strictly or complain that we are violent. Today, Uchiha doesn't care, and they come here again. They're so mean. I heard that the 4th elder was very happy today. He was humming songs while walking in the corridor. Yangshu also laughed after hearing this. How much anger do we Uchiha usually suffer? These people deserve it. Ora asked. The 4th elder suspended our work and didn't mention any new tasks. Yangshu, do you know what the deputy clan leader plans to let us do? Yangshu shook his head. I don't know much, but the deputy clan leader said that we were very hardworking when we were in the guard team. Just give us a week off, and we will have tasks arranged after a week. Night fell quietly. Uchiha Kawasaki has been honing his skills in the clan's training ground. He just got the Mangekyō Sharingan, which has given him a big leap in his abilities. Chapter 11. If you are strong yourself, why do you need recognition from others? Whether it is the sharpness of vision, the power of illusion, or the flexibility of the body, they have all improved a lot. But his Mangekyō has not unlocked any other eye skills except for a big move called Susano. This made Kawasaki feel worried, but he was not in a hurry. Anyway, he couldn't use it now. Kawasaki could clearly feel that his eyes were much stronger than others. While practicing, he was still thinking in his mind, wanting to see who in the tribe had a talent for business. However, most Uchiha ninjas are good at fighting, and there are very few people who know how to operate and manage. There is a young man named Uchiha Keming who stands out. Although he only opened the double Magatama at the age of 17, he has other skills: business, scientific research, and logistics management. Keming used to be Kawasaki's teammate. This kid is actually a versatile person. I didn't see it before, so I have to cultivate him well. In addition to Uchiha ninjas, ordinary villagers are also within Kawasaki's consideration. Most of these villagers run small businesses in Konaha village, and some of them are really talented. Kawasaki silently memorized all these people, which was the last link of his plan. Kawasaki was surrounded by a group of tribesmen practicing in groups of 3 or 4. From time to time, some trivial things from the outside world drifted into his ears. Tired of practicing, Kawasaki sat down to drink water and rest. At this time, Fugaku was listening to the reports of the 3rd and 4th elders. Chief, today I have taught the Hyuga family the defense layout and patrol routes of our guard team. It will take the Hyuga family a week from sending people to learn to officially taking up their posts. Fugaku nodded. Did those people make trouble after they came back? Fugaku asked. The 3rd elder shook his head. No, those troublemakers came back today and just spent time in the training ground, or gathered together to chat. They didn't make any noise. The 4th elder continued. Of course they won't make any noise. Today they just watched those people's excitement. What excitement? The 3rd elder was in the tribe all day and didn't pay much attention to what was happening outside. The 4th elder said with a smug look on his face. Those merchants on the street, before we Uchiha were here, they complained every day. They either said that the law enforcement was not strict or that it was too slow, and the most complaints were about violent law enforcement. Today they all came to ask where the guards were. You don't know, they looked so eager, asking when we would send someone, that look in their eyes. The 4th elder tutted his lips, looking very proud. Advertisement. Now you think of our Uchiha. Hey, we Uchiha won't serve you. He now understands Kawasaki's intention more or less. The 3rd elder also tasted something and looked at Fugaku. Fugaku nodded. I can see that too. Kawasaki is looking for an outlet for the tribe members to vent. Kawasaki said that this is just the beginning, and there will be many opportunities for Uchiha in the future. Uchiha is actually the most suitable for the guard team. After all, Uchiha is a versatile person. They can use illusions to subdue troublemakers immediately, and have observation skills, so they can find any problems in time. They are fierce in physical skills, agile, and can arrive at the scene quickly. But because of the past events, the people of Konaha chose to ignore these. And the Uchiha tribe members have always wanted the villagers to recognize them. In fact, Uchiha never needs recognition from others. Because the strong do not need recognition from others. Just as Kawasaki expected, the security situation in Konaha has not been very good these days. There are no major conflicts, and no one cares about petty thefts. Fortunately, the 3rd Hokage asked Danzo to keep an eye on it, otherwise there might be a big mess. There are no complaints from the guard team, but people ask about it every day. When can new people be sent? But there is no one on the Uchiha side. There is no way. Those merchants can only go to the Hokage to report. Although not everyone can see the Hokage, but these villagers have lived in Konaha for so long, and they have more or less relatives. With so many people, opinions will naturally be passed on to the 3rd generation. The 3rd generation has no choice but to urge the Hyuga family to take over quickly. Under the urging of the 3rd generation, the Hyuga family arrived 2 days earlier, and on the 6th day, the guards in various places finally arrived. However, the team configuration is a little less than that of the Uchiha. The Hyuga family has the Byakugan to observe and the Gentle Fist to seal the chakra, which is also a good guard. Sure enough, once the Hyuga family took over, the public security immediately improved. The person in charge of the guard is Hyuga Hizashi, and the guard is full of people from the Hyuga branch house. Hizashi learned the lesson of the Uchiha and required all Hyuga guards to enforce the law gently and not let the villagers complain. The Hyuga branch house was fighting on the front line, and there was a caged bird carved on its head. Although they were born in Hyuga, they were not arrogant and were quite approachable. Therefore, most disputes among residents were resolved through persuasion. Seeing that the noble Hyuga family was so easy to talk to, the residents praised them. Advertisement: the Hyuga family is really reliable. Much gentler than the Uchiha people. The Hyuga family should have been in charge of the guard team long ago. Kawasaki and Itachi walked on the street. Itachi had already resigned from the position of Anbu from the 3rd generation. Kawasaki wanted to get in touch with Itachi more. After all, Itachi would be a strong fighting force in the future, but his illness had to be solved. Fugaku also asked Itachi to get closer to Kawasaki, and Itachi admired Kawasaki's wisdom. Both wanted to see the villagers' reaction after the Uchiha slowly withdrew from the guard team. Itachi, what do you think our people need most? Kawasaki was talking to Itachi while looking at the streets of Konaha. It's a village, but it's really big. Looking at the prosperity of the streets, the permanent population is at least hundreds of thousands. No wonder Uchiha always wanted to take power before. Unfortunately, the changes in the ninja world in the future cannot be influenced by these hundreds of thousands of ordinary people. After all, Konaha is already superficially prosperous due to the lack of high-end combat power. The long-term high-pressure policy made the people of the Hokage lineage not trust Uchiha at all. Not to mention being a Hokage, even the position of advisor elder was not left for Uchiha. No wonder Uchiha has so many dissatisfactions. The more the Hokage lineage refused to give up power, the tighter Uchiha held the guards. During the Nine Tails incident, it was clearly the top leaders who did not allow Uchiha to participate in the war. In the end, it became the reason for the villagers' suspicion. It is hard to tell whether this public opinion is the work of the Hokage faction, but I don't know whether the mastermind is Danzo or the third generation. Itachi thought seriously. Deputy clan leader, I think it is a sense of belonging. Kawasaki waved his hand. Just call me senior. As for the sense of identity, how many Jonin have come out of our Uchiha family? How many can the entire Konaha village count? In Konaha, the officially registered Jonin add up to only about 200 people. A Jonin can lead 3 or 5 four-man teams at ordinary times, and more in wartime, so the weight of Jonin is very heavy. But in the guard team, even the Jonin of the Uchiha family can only play the role of a team leader. There are more than 30 such Jonin team leaders in the guard team. We Uchiha Jonin are obviously more numerous than other ninja clans, but they are all confined to the small world of the guard. Uchiha people will never be truly recognized if they stay in the guard. Every day they just deal with trivial matters and slowly wear out their spirits. We Uchiha are strong in ourselves, why do we need others to recognize us? Chapter 12 How dare you come to Konaha and act wild? After listening to Kawasaki's words, Itachi nodded with understanding. I heard that the people of Hyuga family are doing a good job and there are few complaints. What do you think, senior? Itachi thought for a while and looked at the street. Kawasaki felt much more comfortable when he heard Itachi change his words to senior. The title of deputy clan leader given by Fugaku on a whim always made Kawasaki feel awkward. Kawasaki followed his line of sight. There were 2 guards of Hyuga family over there, busy mediating a dispute. After a while, few complaints. He raised the corner of his mouth. The work of the guard is not easy. Sure enough, the dispute there broke through. The 2 people being mediated raised their voices. Who do you think you are, minding my business? My wife is from the Yamanaka clan. What's wrong with being from the Yamanaka clan? My last name is Shimura, understand? I am from the clan of the advisory elder Shimura Danzo. The 2 Hyuga family members were caught in the middle, in a dilemma. It was not right to arrest or not to arrest. Sir, it was obviously you who made the mistake first, and the others were just defending themselves. Hyuga Heshwan still explained patiently. After all, Hizashi had told us not to arrest people unless the situation was serious. You are just a member of the Hyuga branch house, a watchdog, and you dared to control me? The man was drunk, punching and kicking Hyuga Heshwan who was restraining him, and his words were extremely harsh. Hyuga Heshwan's face darkened. This was a sore spot, and it was the biggest taboo for people in the branch house. So he put his fingers together and flicked them all over the drunk man's body. The drunk was hit on the acupuncture point and fell to the ground instantly, his face smashed on the ground, his nose bleeding, and he cried. You abused violence, I want to complain to you. Hyuga Heshwan's face was livid, and he saw that the villagers around him were pointing fingers at him. He quickly pulled his teammates and took the drunk away. Uchiha Itachi watched this scene from the side and felt that it was familiar. Because he often saw Shisui encounter this kind of thing, and Shisui always chose to take the initiative to apologize and reconcile. This made some people in the family complain about Shisui. Most of the merchants here are related to big families. Every time there is a conflict, they use their background to threaten. So Uchiha is often caught in the middle and is in a dilemma. They have to make peace, but many Uchiha people are easily emotional. It doesn't work to make peace, and they will directly start when they can't agree. Now these things are thrown to the Hyuga family, and it seems that the Hyuga family is not much better than us Uchiha. Itachi admired Kawasaki even more. Kawasaki smiled slightly when he saw Itachi's expression. Many people in Uchiha had encountered such things, but Uchiha never indulged these people. Advertisement Uchiha was arrogant and disdained hypocrisy. He always enforced the law impartially, arresting those who should be arrested and imprisoning those who should be imprisoned. Over the years, Uchiha has become accustomed to this way of doing things. And this is exactly the design of the second generation Tobirama. If you want to enforce the law impartially, you will definitely offend the ninja clan. If you offend the ninja clan, you will naturally not get a vote of confidence in the Hokage election. So Uchiha can't be Hokage at all. Otherwise, based on Fugaku's achievements in the Third Ninja World War. Not to mention Hokage, it's not that he didn't even get an advisory elder. Although the patrol area of the guard team has been replaced. But the Hyuga clan is obviously much inferior to Uchiha in handling such matters. At least Uchiha doesn't care who your backer is, he will arrest you and imprison you. The Hyuga branch house is too restricted by the main family, and its actions are restricted, so it is busy and exhausted. At this moment, Kawasaki selected some civilians with business acumen in the Uchiha clan and set off quietly. It is easy to leave Konaha but difficult to enter, and civilians are generally not checked when they leave the village. There are still a considerable number of civilians in the Uchiha who do not have the talent of ninja, and many people will never be able to open their eyes in their lifetime. Except for the surname Uchiha, they are actually no different from ordinary people. Kawasaki worked in catering in his previous life, and he has been busy compiling recipes and planning these days. These delicacies should be unprecedented in this world. Outside the Konaha barrier, Ching led 7 elite mist shinobi and was rapidly approaching Konaha. Bayan. The blood vessels in Ching's right eye bulge. After investigation, it turned out that the Konaha guard was actually the Hyuga clan. Rather than the Uchiha clan, it seems that the Uchiha and Konaha have a grudge. Our chance has come, let's go. Ching was ecstatic. Although the Hyuga family is also a family of eye techniques, the threat is far less than that of the Uchiha. The visual range of the Byakugan is related to the purity, training and strength of the eyes. After Ching obtained the Byakugan, he practiced day and night. In addition, the purity of the Byakugan of this main family is high, and the visual range is extremely far. And Ching found through long-term use that if you observe a 360-degree range, the visual range will be shortened. If you focus on one direction, the visual range will be very far. People's attention is usually focused on the 180 degrees in front. The habit of using the Byakugan is also to extend the visual range in front. Although his Byakugan has a smaller range, but the visual range is farther than those people trained. As long as the patrolling Hyuga don't use their Byakugan to check behind before he approaches, they have a chance. Advertisement, follow my steps, there are Hyuga people patrolling ahead. Yes. Master Ching. Byakugan. Unable to use ninjutsu, Ching led the mist shinobi team to advance in a roundabout way. Hyuga Morizuki led his teammates while patrolling, and opened his Byakugan every once in a while. Everything was normal in the distance, nothing unusual. He didn't know that a team was going around behind him. When he turned around, the mist shinobi turned with him. Although Ching didn't know why this Hyuga didn't use his Byakugan to look back directly. But seeing Morizuki turn around, he knew that his attention was in front. As the distance got closer, the mist shinobi rushed forward quickly. The purpose was to enter the attack range before the Byakugan could detect the side and rear. Hyuga Morizuki's expression tightened, be careful. From behind Hyuga Morizuki, a knife flashed. The target was none other than Kobayashi Yusuke. Hiss. Morizuki was a little slow, and just as he was about to perform gentle fist, Kobayashi Yusuke had already fallen down, holding his neck. Damn it. A ninja wearing bandages and holding a large sword suddenly appeared in the mist. It's Zabuza. Silent killing technique. Hyuga Morizuki immediately opened his Byakugan and conducted a comprehensive visual reconnaissance. In the surrounding mist, several waves of chakra reacted violently and pounced fiercely on his team. The remaining 2 Chunin fell to death in a pool of blood before they could fire a flare. Several other figures appeared, all dressed in the uniforms of the Mist Shinobi assassination team, led by Ao with an eye patch on his right eye. It's you. How dare you come to Konaha to act wildly? Hyuga Morizuki took the posture of gentle fist, but his heart was heavy. Ao took away a Byakugan in the Third Ninja World War, and this person was regarded as the life and death enemy of the Hyuga family. His name was listed on Konaha's golden wanted poster. He is definitely not an easy person to deal with. Qingjiao stepped on the branch. It's a pity that he is only from the Hyuga branch house, otherwise there would be another pair of white eyes. Hyuga Morizuki was speechless. How could the main family appear on the periphery of Konaha for patrolling? Looking around at the 8 mist ninjas surrounding him, the chakra volume showed that they were all Jonin level. The one with the lowest chakra volume was Zabuza, and it seemed that he would not be able to escape today. Chapter 13 Mist Shinobi's Work. Worship Kawasaki. Hyuga Morizuki took a gentle fist stance. Zabuza's voice came from under the bandage. Let me test his strength. Ching nodded. Quick fight, quick decision. Hyuga Morizuki was furious and used himself as a target for practice. Zabuza launched a silent killing technique and disappeared into the fog again. Unfortunately, Hyuga Morizuki had already opened his Byakugan and his eyes were always locked on Zabuza. Seeing no chance, Zabuza rushed straight at Morizuki with his sword. Hyuga Morizuki had a solid foundation in gentle fist, and Zabuza's swordsmanship was fierce, and the two immediately fell into a fierce confrontation. According to the tradition of the Hyuga family, Morizuki was used to striking back, and he responded calmly to Zabuza's repeated strong attacks. Zabuza seemed to be extremely confident in his swordsmanship, and he was not afraid of physical confrontation, and he swung his sword to fight with Morizuki. Zabuza was already famous at this time, although he had not yet joined the 7 ninja swordsmen. But he was already a leader among his peers among the Mist Shinobi, and his physical training was quite advanced. Unfortunately, he met the Hyuga clan who restrained him. Hyuga Morizuki had several good opportunities to get rid of Zabuza, but he endured it. He knew his mission and had to sound the alarm, otherwise the Hyuga clan could not be disgraced by his dereliction of duty for the security team quota that they had finally won. The two fighting figures moved quickly and finally hit a corner. Hyuga Morizuki found a flaw and slapped Zabuza's sword with one palm. Snap. With a crisp sound, Zabuza did not expect the opponent to be so strong, and the sword flew out of his hand. Hyuga Morizuki dragged his broken arm and flashed back, with warning fireworks in his hand. Don't think about it. Several missed shinobi people were originally supporting on the side, and at this moment, several shurikens instantly blocked Hyuga Morizuki's retreat. However, Hyuga Morizuki turned around and hit them. He met the shurikens with his own flesh and blood. The warning fireworks in his hand were fired with a bang. A nearby missed shinobi kicked Hyuga Morizuki in the waist, knocking him to the ground and rolling several times. Blood spurted out of Hyuga Morizuki's mouth, and his chest, neck and head were pierced by several shurikens. In a short time, Hyuga Morizuki died. The caged bird on his forehead flashed, and his white eyes lost their color and dissipated. In the nearby forest, the emergency signal was quickly received. Several new flares exploded in the sky. Advertisement. Ching glared at Hyuga Morizuki fiercely, and then cast a stern look at Zabuza. It's over now, retreat. Several people quickly evacuated the scene. With a quick leap, 3 Anbu members jumped into the field. One of them was wearing a fox mask, with messy silver hair and a knife on his back. It was Hitaki Kakashi. After landing, Kakashi quickly pulled up his forehead protector to reveal his Sharingan. After a brief inspection, he gestured to the other 2 companions. The other 2 Anbu quickly checked the bodies of everyone. Reported to Kakashi, physical attack, thick fog cover. Knife wound, assassination technique, it is very likely that missed shinobi did it. Kakashi nodded. Although the enemy has retreated, it is still possible that they will return. I will report to the 3rd generation now. Since the 3rd Ninja World War, missed shinobi often sent people to harass Konaha, but they were repelled by the Uchiha clan before. Unexpectedly, 4 Konaha shinobi died here this time, and one of them was the Hyuga family with the strongest reconnaissance ability. The situation is serious. Inside the Hokage's office. After listening to Kakashi's report, the 3rd Hokage frowned. Please ask Hizashi to come over. It is unbelievable that the Byakugan, which has the strongest detective power, was attacked by surprise. In the past, the Uchiha was responsible for the outer security of Konaha, and it has never suffered such a big loss. I didn't expect that the missed shinobi would come as soon as the Hyuga family took over. Fortunately, the warning fireworks were released in time, otherwise this group of missed shinobi would sneak into the village, and the consequences would be disastrous. After Kakashi retreated, the crutches made a thumping sound, and the person who came was Shimura Danzo, who was stripped of his position. The 3rd Hokage was not surprised to see Danzo. After all, even if Danzo lost the position of Hokage's assistant, he was still an advisory elder. The position of Hokage's assistant was just an empty title for him. After all, the 3rd Hokage had many things that were inconvenient to do personally, and he still had to rely on Danzo. The 3rd Hokage took a puff of his pipe. Danzo, are the recent public security problems your fault? Advertisement, humph, I don't understand what you are talking about. Now that the Uchiha have completely withdrawn from the guard, the remaining Uchiha are only guarding their own shops. You'd better be quiet. Danzo did make a fuss for a few days, but later found that the Uchiha did not respond at all, and his behavior became a laughing stock. He did not respond to this, and continued with his previous proposal. The members of the Root are all loyal and very suitable for inclusion in the guard. The 3rd Hokage understood Danzo's calculations and waved his hand in annoyance. We will discuss this matter later. I will find Hizashi to understand the situation first. Hiruzen, think about it carefully. Danzo did not entangle. He knew that the 3rd generation would not allow him to extend the power of the Root to the guard. So he slowly left on crutches. During this period, the guard was attacked. In addition, the news that a team and a member of the Hyuga family had died had spread to the Uchiha family. At this time, Kawasaki was visiting Shisui. Shisui's eyes had been successfully reattached. I have to admit that replacing an eye is indeed simple. Even if there is no special physique, eye replacement is a simple and easy operation here. Look at Nohara Lin, she can install Sharingan for Kakashi on the battlefield. You will know how popular this kind of medical technology is in this world. Of course, the most amazing thing is Tsunade's healing jutsu, a technology passed down by her. It can quickly repair all kinds of injuries and greatly reduce the probability of death. If Shisui had not had other injuries, the eye replacement alone would not have kept him in bed for a week. Senior, I don't have any major problems, why do you have to let me stay at home for so long? Shisui originally called him the deputy clan leader, but Kawasaki stopped him and asked Shisui to call him senior directly to get closer. Konaha village is in turmoil right now, and many people are eyeing our Uchiha. I let you rest at home, firstly to let you recover completely, and secondly to let the situation ferment for a while. In Kawasaki's heart, although Shisui is not very smart, he is really capable. Besides, Shisui is still young and has a huge room for growth. Sharingan is a big burden for Shisui now, and Susanoo cannot use it at will. But if used properly, distinguished heavenly gods are a great help. Deputy clan leader. You are here, Shisui, how is your recovery? The visitor is named Uchiha Yayue, who is considered a relatively obedient one in the faction. A week ago, Kawasaki made the Hokage side lose, and since then Yayue has admired Kawasaki very much. Chapter 14 The Hyuga Clan. Interestingly, his younger brother is Uchiha Kiming. One is careless and the other is smart. It is hard to imagine that these two people with such different personalities are brothers. The third elder simply handed him over to Kawasaki, and he came here to inform the guard team of the attack. This is the situation. The strange thing is that a Hyuga tribe member was involved and almost didn't have time to send out a warning signal. Sure enough, the Hyuga tribe members are not as good as our Uchiha. The guard team was attacked immediately without Uchiha stationed. Kawasaki ignored Yaoyu's boasting. He knew in his heart why he was attacked even with the Byakugan. Although the Byakugan has a super long vision range, it is not an all-round super long vision range. The visible distance is different when focusing on a certain direction and observing from all angles. When people in the Hyuga branch house use the Byakugan to look at the distance, they habitually turn their bodies to observe. This is because their first thoracic vertebra has a visual blind spot to the back, and they are used to using the perspective in front of them when looking far away. If someone's vision range can suppress them, they can see the Hyuga clan members turning around. The vision range of the Hyuga Byakugan depends on the purity of the Byakugan and the strength of the user. The only ones who can suppress Hyuga Morizuki in this regard are the Jonin-level main family eyes. Since there is the shadow of Mist Shinobi, this matter is most likely done by Mist Shinobi's Ching. Because the Hyuga family only lost one main family Byakugan during the Third Ninja World War. The last time Ching intended to cause trouble in Konaha, he was scared off by Shisui's illusion. He is a very cautious person. Now that Hyuga Hizashi has reported to the third generation, deputy clan leader, do you think Hyuga will ask us Uchiha for help? Kawasaki looked at Yayue with a little amusement. Although he is already a 3 Magatama Jonin, he is definitely a commander-level figure in other ninja clans. But Yayue is simple-minded. Although he was promoted to Jonin because of his performance during the war, he actually won it by his own strength and almost never commanded other teams. In his opinion, Uchiha can do things well, but other ninjas can't do them well, so they will naturally come for help. Because in Yayu's eyes, Uchiha is the most powerful. They will definitely come, but we won't get involved in this mess again. Yayue, go and invite the clan leader to the conference room and tell him I'm waiting for him there. Yes. Deputy clan leader. Yayue was very excited, thinking that the deputy clan leader might have an action plan. Looking at Yayu's hurriedly leaving back, Kawasaki waved his hand. Shisui, get ready, you may be needed in a few days. Shisui touched his eyes and nodded resolutely. When Kawasaki arrived at the conference room, Fugaku was already waiting there. Advertisement, Kawasaki, what do you think about this? The previous message was sent by Fugaku. The Hyuga clan is qualified as the outer guard, and this attack was an accident. Because the Byakugan of their branch house has a defect, and this defect caused problems in their usage habits. Afterwards, Kawasaki explained to Fugaku the visual blind spot caused by the Byakugan caged bird, and how the purity and strength of the Byakugan affect the detection range and visual distance. At the same time, he made a guess about the attacker. Fugaku suddenly realized that it was no wonder that the Hyuga family was attacked. It turned out that the Byakugan of the Hyuga branch house had such a defect. The eyes that can foresee the future are so powerful? Fugaku imagined it as Kawasaki's Mangekyō ability, otherwise outsiders would not know such a secret. Kawasaki. Fugaku said earnestly, the power of Mangekyō Sharingan cannot be abused. Otherwise, your eyes will soon go blind. Kawasaki nodded. It seems that Fugaku really trusts him. Don't worry, clan leader, I know what's going on. Thank you for your concern. Seeing that Kawasaki knew what was going on, Fugaku nodded with relief. How will Hyuga deal with this? Hyuga only needs to send 2 branch house teams to completely solve this problem. But the Hyuga family has a fatal weakness, that is, not enough manpower. The number of Uchiha clan ninjas is less than that of the Hyuga clan. Because everyone in the Hyuga family can open the Byakugan, almost everyone can fight. The number of people is naturally not small. But the Hyuga clan will not leave the territory, and the guardian of the clan is also a branch house. In this way, the number of available people is reduced by half. Besides, patrolling outside requires at least the strength of Chunin. The Hyuga family, which has dispersed most of its human resources to maintain law and order in the village, must be unable to patrol outside. Now that you are still the captain of the guard team, the Hyuga family will definitely consult you. At that time, we can. In response to the third generation's inquiry, Hyuga Hizashi insisted that the attacker must be Ao of Mist Shinobi. As for why the Byakugan was ineffective, he was vague and evasive. Advertisement. The third Hokage did not delve into the details of the incident. After all, this was not the first time that Mist Shinobi had attacked. He just ordered Hizashi to strengthen the defense and not let similar incidents happen again. Because the third generation was busy negotiating with Cloud Shinobi recently to discuss the peace agreement. The third generation was exhausted by the back and forth tug of war, and they did not have much energy to pay attention to this matter. After Hizashi returned to the clan to discuss with Heishi, he came to the Uchiha territory in the evening to ask for an audience with Fugaku. Captain Fugaku, our guard team is currently short of manpower in deployment. Do you think it is possible to bring back some of the Uchiha family members who have been suspended from their duties? Fugaku waved his hand. My clansmen don't listen to orders very much, it may not be easy to get them back now. And mobilizing family members is not an easy task. Fugaku obviously didn't want to get involved in this mess anymore. Hizashi smiled bitterly and said, Captain Fugaku, I now understand the grievances that your guard team usually endures. I am also complained by my clan members every day. Even if I do my job well, I will be criticized. Captain Fugaku, you really have to help with this matter, otherwise our Hyuga family will not be able to stand firm in this guard team. Fugaku took a sip of tea. Hizashi, you don't know, everyone is criticized because of comparison. Comparison? Hizashi asked puzzledly. Yes, because you are not as good as our Uchiha, so the villagers are not satisfied with you. Hizashi fell into deep thought. I have to admit that Fugaku's words make sense. As the leading family in the ninja world, Uchiha naturally has its arrogance. No matter what the background is, they should manage what they should manage and ban what they should ban. The Hyuga family is not bad in terms of strength, but the status of the branch house is awkward, and they have to act according to the face of the main family at all times. And everyone knows who the main family is. Therefore, the branch house always hesitates to do things. Now the outer patrol team of the security team is attacked outside. The main family is furious and demands that the branch house solve this problem no matter what. Although Hizashi has considered the strategy of cooperation between the two branch houses, the branch house has so many people. If the patrol team increases the manpower, the security team will have to reduce the manpower. Therefore, Hizashi came to Fugaku for help. Chapter 15 Danzo, you can't hide it. I don't have any good ideas. Fugaku refused directly. Hizashi just felt a little disappointed, but Fugaku changed the subject. However, you can ask Kawasaki, he has a lot of ideas. Oh, Hizashi glanced at Fugaku, with a poker face as usual. Hizashi guessed that Fugaku might have a way, but due to his status, he couldn't say it clearly, so he had to use Kawasaki's mouth. Okay, where is the Deputy Chief Kawasaki? I'll go visit him. Fugaku stood up and said, after all, we have cooperated on the battlefield, so there is no need to be so polite. I'll ask him to come over. Wait a moment. As he said that, Fugaku stood up and left the meeting room. Not long after leaving the meeting room, Kawasaki came in. As expected, Hizashi saw Kawasaki coming immediately, and he was more convinced of his guess. Kawasaki came in and seemed particularly enthusiastic. Master Hizashi, right? I am Uchiha Kawasaki. I have heard of your name for a long time. I will definitely communicate with you more in the future. He had a good impression of Hyuga Hizashi. Although Hizashi was loyal, he could not escape the constraints of the times after all. Being able to die for his brother is beyond the reach of ordinary people. And he is Neji's father. Among ordinary people, Neji's talent is rare. If there is a chance, it is always good to have more contact. Besides, the Third Ninja World War had just ended, and the incident against Hinata by Cloud Shinobi had not happened yet. Kawasaki wanted to help Hizashi, and it would be a pity to die like this. Hizashi was a little surprised by Kawasaki's enthusiasm, but he didn't want to hit a smiling person. He was also happy to see Kawasaki being so easy to talk to. Deputy Chief Kawasaki is too polite. I can't bear the title of adult. Haha, then let's not be polite. You can call me Kawasaki and I'll call you Hizashi. Hizashi couldn't help but smile. Kawasaki was really a wonderful person. He had a good impression of Kawasaki and agreed. Then Hizashi repeated what he said to Fugaku to Kawasaki. Kawasaki really had a plan. Hizashi, this is simple, since the villagers like to compare. Then you can find someone who does worse than you and use him as a scapegoat. Worse than our Hyuga? Hizashi thought about it, but couldn't think of which ninja clan would be suitable. I can't think of which ninja clan would be suitable for a while. Hizashi shook his head and said. Kawasaki saw it and said directly, you can go to Danzo to ask for people. Hasn't he always wanted to put people in the guard team? Advertisement. Hizashi was surprised. Aren't Danzo's people roots? How can that be possible? How can those guys in roots, who kill people like crazy? Oh, that's right. Killing people like crazy is just right. Kawasaki's expression was meaningful. We just need to use those people who kill people like crazy to manage public security, so you can get free to go to the patrol team. Hizashi suddenly realized. Roots, even if they kill people like crazy, they can't kill civilians. People like Danzo will not let go easily once they grab power. And whether roots can do a good job in maintaining public security, this seems to be a no-brainer. Anyway, the Hyuga family and Danzo don't get along. Hizashi quickly left the Uchiha territory and returned to the tribe to discuss with his brother Hyuga Heishi. Heishi also applauded the idea. He patted Hizashi on the shoulder and said, this Uchiha Kawasaki is interesting. Maybe Fugaku sent him to contact you in order to train him. It was Kawasaki who suggested to Fugaku that we join the guard this time. You should get to know him more often in the future. Maybe there will be other opportunities for cooperation in the future. Hizashi nodded in agreement. Then, he quickly handed over a visiting card to Shimura Danzo. Everyone knew Danzo's roots, but Danzo usually did not allow outsiders to go there. He always received guests in the Shimura clan's land. Danzo was a little surprised when Hizashi delivered the visiting card. Because the Hyuga clan has always been closed and rarely communicated with the outside world. They didn't have much friendship in private, but Hizashi was the head of the Hyuga branch house after all, and Danzo couldn't even give him this little face. So he quickly met Hyuga Hizashi. Hisashi came in and exchanged a few pleasantries before getting straight to the point. Elder Danzo, you know that our Hyuga family has recently taken over a lot of Uchiha guard tasks. But yesterday the patrol outside Konaha was attacked, and I found that we Hyuga are short of manpower. I heard that the root has sufficient manpower, and I want to borrow some people from Danzo to join the guard. I wonder. Oh, Danzo was secretly happy. He had always wanted to join the guard, and the third Hokage had always suppressed him. Now Hisashi took the initiative to come to him, so he couldn't blame him. Advertisement a bunch of trash who can't even handle patrol tasks. No problem, Hisashi, there are plenty of people in the route, how many do you want to borrow? Hisashi thought for a moment. How about 30 people? Lord Danzo, we have to make a deal in advance. Your people must follow my command when they join the guards, otherwise, Fugaku will not agree. Danzo naturally agreed. No problem, since they are seconded to you, they will naturally follow your orders. The two quickly reached an agreement, and Hisashi said goodbye and left. Danzo looked at Hisashi's back and laughed secretly. Once the people from the route go in, you can't do it. Hisashi's white eyes naturally noticed that Danzo was staring at him from behind, and Hisashi snorted in his heart. Danzo, you can't escape. Danzo quickly arrived at the base of the root organization and gathered all his men. After selecting the personnel, he said to the leader Nakamura Kazuya, Kazuya, your mission is to quickly seize power after sneaking into the security team. Remember, don't quarrel with anyone at the beginning. Especially Uchiha Fugaku, don't let him find an excuse to drive you back, understand? Understood. Hyuga family. Hisashi is busy adjusting the team. Tokuma, you withdraw the people from blocks 1 to 4 and let them join the outer patrol team. Each group must have 2 people from our family, and use the white eyes to monitor each other. Hyuga Tokuma is a particularly calm and steady Hyuga tribe member, and Hisashi often gives things to him to do. Tomorrow, the Danzo elders will send some people over. Blocks 1 to 4 will be handed over to the newcomers. Blocks 5 to 7 will remain unchanged. Hisashi-sama, why do you want to let the Danzo elders intervene? Aren't they all roots people? Hisashi smiled and patted Tokuma's shoulder. You will understand after a while. The next day, the security department, routine morning assembly. Nakamura Kazuya and the root team members arrived at the scene early. Nakamura Kazuya was thinking about how to deal with Hyuga Hisashi. But he found that Uchiha Fugaku, who hadn't seen him for a long time, was also at the scene. And Hisashi stood directly behind Fugaku, obviously letting Fugaku arrange everything. Nakamura Kazuya's face sank, feeling that the development of things was a little beyond his expectations. Soon, everyone gathered. Chapter 16 today is the 5th update, please give me some data. Fugaku first said to the remaining Uchiha tribe members, the patrol range and deployment of the Uchiha tribe will remain unchanged today. Fugaku nodded to Hisashi, and Hisashi walked out. All Hyuga tribe members, I have already told Tokuma the new arrangements. Follow Tokuma's distribution after you go down. The Uchiha and Hyuga tribe members left quickly, leaving only the root members led by Nakamura Kazuya on the field. Fugaku said to Nakamura Kazuya with a straight face, Nakamura Kazuya, your patrol area is Konaha village blocks 1 to 4, mainly responsible for public security issues. Nakamura Kazuya asked, Captain, Elder Danzo asked us to participate in the patrol mission, how did it become public security? Fugaku said expressionlessly, the patrolmen have been arranged, and your duty is to manage the public security of blocks 1 to 4. But, Fugaku interrupted Nakamura Kazuya with a wave of his hand. No buts, this is the security team, I am the captain, if you do not obey orders, I will send you back to your original place. Nakamura Kazuya gritted his teeth, we will abide by the arrangement. He thought to himself, first gain a foothold in the security team, and then find an opportunity later. Fugaku nodded and said to Hisashi, you will arrange it next. Then he walked away with a pace. What the hell is Fugaku doing? The third Hokage who received the Anbu report thought to himself. Fugaku used to have a feud with Root and Shisui's incident. Why would Fugaku allow Root members to join the guard? Since there are not many people, the third generation also wants to see what Fugaku is planning. From giving up power and actively wooing the Hyuga family, his real power is almost hollowed out. Now he has given up control of the guard and accepted members of Root. Uchiha's series of actions are confusing. In the complaint room of the guard, in the third block of Konaha, the owner of Shimizu Izakaya came again, and he came almost every other day in the past few days. From complaining that no one responded at the beginning, to later feeling that the Hyuga family was not as good as Uchiha. He came almost every day. Yanping didn't care about it, and he had a way to get rid of him every time he came. Don't worry about this. Because of your previous complaint, we have transferred the people from the Hyuga family. Now we have replaced them with a more powerful group, which is directly led by the elders. We are now wholeheartedly considering the people of Konaha village. Really? Advertisement. The izakaya owner was skeptical. After all, there are many people who make trouble when they run a tavern. When Uchiha was there before, no matter who came to make trouble, they would be taken away, even their own employees. Later, the Hyuga family was replaced, and the attitude of the Hyuga family was good. It's just that they are not decisive enough, and they are slow in handling problems, and their efficiency is far less than that of Uchiha. Now they have changed again. The fourth elder Yongping said with a smile. Don't worry, the new people will start working today. This group of people will never drag their feet. The izakaya owner left skeptically. After the izakaya owner left, elder Yongping couldn't help laughing. The general will not drag their feet when doing things. They are more daring than us Uchiha. Konaha 3rd Street, Shingshui Izakaya. The boss is now completely relieved. When he came over, he saw that the new security patrolmen were already walking back and forth. Both teams had stern faces and were serious, but they had never seen these faces before, so they looked a little strange. I don't know which elder's personal soldiers they are. Burp. Boss, your wine doesn't taste right, did you mix water with it? A drunkard shouted loudly in the izakaya. The two people who just entered the door hesitated for a moment, turned around and went out again. The izakaya boss's face darkened. There are always some drunkards who say that the wine is diluted with water when they are drunk. Although he did add water, isn't the wine you usually drink also diluted with water? If he makes a scene now, won't it delay business? The boss winked at the clerk, and two burly clerks immediately stepped forward to drag the drunk out. Sir, please don't make trouble and affect our business. Damn it. You sell diluted wine and drive customers away. The drunk was not convinced and immediately wrestled with the two clerks. The drunk was defeated after all and was soon pushed out of the door. The izakaya boss was used to this kind of scene, but he didn't expect that his clerks would scream outside soon. The boss hurried out and found 4 members of the security team blocking the door. And his clerk and the drunk had already fallen to the ground. The 3 guards looked serious and pressed them to the ground. The strength was so great that several people screamed in pain. Advertisement. One of the guards came forward and said, your clerk and this drunk were fighting in the street. They have been arrested by our guards and will be detained for 3 days. Go to the guards to pick them up after 3 days. The izakaya owner felt dizzy, he still had to do business. 2 clerks were arrested like this, how could he open his store? Although the public security regulations do have a provision of 3 days of imprisonment for fighting in the street, the implementation is often flexible. Whether to imprison or not is not up to your guards. No matter how the izakaya owner said good things, the rude personnel ignored him and took the people away directly. The izakaya owner really had no words to say. One wave of troubles has not settled before another wave of troubles. It's not as good as the Hyuga family before. Similar things kept happening in Konaha from blocks 1 to 4. Many people were arrested, and the detention center of the guards was full in an instant. Nakamura Kazuya felt that there was nothing wrong with it. He followed the regulations and arrested those who made mistakes. Now that the troublemakers have been arrested, isn't the public security better now? In the 8th street of Konaha village, almost every store here has a sign of the Uchiha family. Many Uchiha people who did not become ninjas chose to do small business here. Since last week, the number of Uchiha people patrolling the 8th street has tripled. Uchiha team members shuttle back and forth, and once there is a security situation, they can immediately deal with it on the spot. In addition, in the past few days, all shop owners have noticed that the business in the 8th street is much more prosperous than before. There are many more people coming and going than usual, especially today. Many people flock to the 8th street, making these businesses a little overwhelmed. After asking around, I found out that it was the guards from the 1st street to the 4th street who were replaced. They are no longer from the Hyuga family. The new group of people are cold and ruthless. No matter what the reason, as long as there is a conflict, most of them will directly arrest people and let it go. The means are cruel and the hands are heavy. It is common to break hands and feet. People from the 1st street to the 4th street were so scared that they dared not speak. Ordinary people simply went to the 5th to 8th streets to buy daily necessities. Because the 5th to 7th streets are managed by the Hyuga family, and the 8th street is the Uchiha territory. Today, Uchiha Yangshu received an order from the deputy chief to let all the Uchiha tribe members who were suspended from their duties go to the streets they were originally responsible for. Although this order is confusing, but the Uchiha who were idle at home have been bored for a long time, and they thought it was a good opportunity to get some fresh air, so they went to the streets. Unexpectedly, those shopkeepers who used to look at them like mosquitoes are now full of enthusiasm. It's like seeing relatives. In the past, it was considered good if they didn't spit or take a detour when they met, but now they actually took the initiative to strike up a conversation. When Uchiha Yangshu approached Shingshui Izakaya, the boss greeted him enthusiastically. Captain Yangshu, it's your turn to patrol? Yangshu was a little puzzled, but he still patiently explained, I have been suspended from my post. I will not work in the guard team in the future. I am just walking around casually today. The owner of the izakaya held his hand. Oh, you can't be suspended. Uchiha is the most suitable person to be the guard team. Yangshu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had seen this izakaya owner before. He always looked arrogant and complained at every turn. He said that Uchiha's guard team did nothing all day, but now he praised Uchiha as the best. Chapter 17 Strategy, Strength is King. Hey, let me go first. I'm really suspended. I've received too many complaints before, and the deputy clan leader doesn't allow me to work in the guard team anymore. I'll withdraw the complaint. Can you Uchiha come back to work? Yangshu had no choice but to use the body replacement technique to get rid of the enthusiasm of the izakaya owner, and left the 3rd street in a somewhat embarrassed manner. However, Yang Shu suddenly felt much more comfortable, and the previous frustration disappeared in an instant. Similar scenes were also played out in other streets where Uchiha had patrolled. Many former Uchiha guards were warmly welcomed by the store owners. When they heard that they were not back to patrol, they were extremely disappointed. They said all the good things, just hoping that these Uchiha people could return to their posts. If these Uchiha were not agile, they would probably be pulled and unable to walk. These Uchiha are tough people in the family, doing things tough and offending many people. But now they are being pulled by the store owners one by one, begging them to go back. This sudden recognition, like a long-lost beam of light, shone into their depressed hearts, dispelling all dissatisfaction and gloom. It turns out that there are still people who need us Uchiha, and they realized our value as soon as they left. Some were even tempted to go back to the tribe and ask the tribe leader to let them resume their posts. After all, the captain of the guard team is Uchiha Fugaku, and whether they can resume their posts is just a matter of words. After returning, some of these suspended Uchiha really went to see the tribe leader. What they said made Fugaku wonder if he was under an illusion. He neither agreed nor refused, but just let them continue their vacation. Then he called Kawasaki, Shisui and Itachi. Kawasaki has been soaking in the training ground these days, practicing hard, and Itachi accompanied him in practice. And Shisui, who has recovered from his injury, is also doing rehabilitation training. Several people gathered together soon. Sit down, Shisui, how is your recovery? Fugaku nodded to Kawasaki and Itachi first, and then asked Shisui. Thank you for your concern, Chief. I have basically recovered and am doing recovery training. Shisui is always meticulous. Even if he has just recovered, he sits straight and answers seriously. Advertisement, Kawasaki, did you arrange those people? Fugaku asked. Kawasaki chuckled. They are not making trouble now, right? Fugaku nodded. Your trick really works. They used to be looked down upon wherever they went, but now they're held back wherever they go. They want them to go back. Kawasaki turned to Shisui and Itachi and asked, Shisui, Itachi, what have you found these days? Shisui and Itachi are also very concerned about the Uchiha who were suspended and went home. They were afraid that they would be depressed, but except for the first 2 days, the subsequent developments surprised the two. Itachi said, Senior, you have highlighted the unique status of our Uchiha. Shisui said, Senior, I think we Uchiha are needed. Kawasaki nodded. These two guys are still a bit smart. After all, they are only teenagers, and in their previous lives, they were junior high school students. It is when thoughts are easily fluctuating. Without proper guidance, geniuses may become fools. People have a bad habit of ignoring things around them, so no matter how much we Uchiha do, we will be ignored. And this neglect can be manifested through loss and comparison. We Uchiha have been the guard for so many years, no one can match us, and no one has done better than us. But there are always conspirators in the village, who always think we will usurp power and try to suppress us. So we take a step back and eliminate the threatening impression of Uchiha. When the villagers find out that their previous speculation is just a fantasy, they will naturally remember our goodness. Several people listened quietly. These are very basic principles, but they don't have them. After all, in this cruel world, there are many people who go to the battlefield before the age of 10. How much education can they get? Genius, only in combat, too immature in other aspects. If you are not careful, you will be fooled by Danzo. Or you will be brainwashed by the third Hokage's will of fire. Advertisement Fugaku asked. Now some tribesmen want to return to the guards, what do you think, Kawasaki? Kawasaki rolled his eyes and said unhappily, I don't think it's good. Shisui hesitated, but many villagers are eager for us Uchiha to go back. Only Itachi sat quietly, he knew Kawasaki would explain. Kawasaki slapped Shisui on the head and messed up his hair. Shisui, you really forgot the pain after the wound healed. Have you forgotten how you lost your eyes? People are always forgetful animals. Uchiha's return now is just a replay of history. The root of the problem is not solved, what you said is meaningless. Fugaku listened to Kawasaki's talk and sometimes felt that he was simple-minded. It was really difficult to maintain a good clan. Fortunately, there was Kawasaki. Itachi asked hesitantly, then Senior, what is the root of the problem? The key. Kawasaki patted Itachi on the back and clenched his fists. That's the key. Senior, do you mean strength? Kawasaki shook his head. Yes and no, yes, because in this ninja world, strength is everything. When Uchiha's power is enough to completely overwhelm Konaha, whoever we want to be Hokage can be the Hokage. No, because even if we conquer Konaha, there are still Cloud Shinobi, Rock Shinobi, Mist Shinobi and Sand Shinobi waiting for us. In the era of Madara and Hashirama, Hashirama became Hokage with unrivaled strength because he could conquer all the ninja villages alone. And the Hokage today is just the result of compromise between the various ninja clans. Without self-strengthening, the title of Hokage is unworthy of its name. You have seen so many disasters in my Mangekyō, shouldn't you look further? I suspended Uchiha because I want them to see the current situation clearly and not be blinded by the injustice in front of them. What we need is to be strong ourselves. When Uchiha's strong people can block the side, Muya will ask us to be a Hokage. The prosperous and prosperous, who is the same as the person as a family. It's time to jump out of this restraint. It's time to prepare change. Fugaku was silent for a moment. Notify those people according to the original plan. Kawasaki took out a print scroll and gave it to Itachi. Itachi, some of the families accumulated, including the business plan I wrote. Chapter 18. Firefight, Itachi. They had already decided that Uchiha Itachi and Shisui would lead some of the tribe members to leave Uchiha. Kawasaki and Fugaku stayed in Konaha, and Fugaku wanted Kawasaki to lead. But Konaha was full of talents, and he had to try to win over Konaha's talents. Only in this way could he grasp his own future. Itachi took the seal scroll, and his heart was full of mixed feelings. During this period of time, his mentality had undergone a dramatic change, as if a new world had opened up. The vision that was limited to Konaha village in the past was too narrow. He was reluctant to leave Sasuke, but Shisui was gentle and could not take on the heavy responsibility. He could only be a warrior, and the responsibility of leadership could only fall on Itachi, and the three elders would assist in carrying out these tasks. Fortunately, Senior Kawasaki was there, and he felt at ease. Don't worry, Father, Senior, I will try my best. Senior, please take good care of Sasuke. Kawasaki waved his hand. Don't make it like we are parting forever. Your father is still in the tribe, he will teach Sasuke well. Chief Fugaku, you are responsible for gathering them. Shrine. I know everyone here hopes that our Uchiha tribe will become stronger and stronger. Kawasaki sat at the top, and the others sat on both sides. The Uchiha tribe members below were mostly radicals, and many of them were members of the guard. But Konoha's long-term suppression has prevented us from getting the treatment we deserve. Konoha has never had an Uchiha Hokage for so long. Even the position of advisory elder is not available to us Uchiha. Kawasaki's words made the Uchiha people breathe harder. Most Uchiha people are emotional and easily incited. I asked the four elders to temporarily suspend your duties a few days ago, just to make you understand. Konoha can't do without us Uchiha. We Uchiha should fight for our rights. Uchiha Yayue asked, but deputy clan leader, how can we get rights? Kawasaki secretly made a gesture to Shisui, and Shisui's Sharingan began to spin rapidly. Kawasaki secretly used the pupil power amplifier to increase the influence of distinguished heavenly gods. The key to gaining power is that we are strong enough, and what Uchiha lacks is autonomy. If you have always been protecting the guards, you will never be able to go directly from the offending guards to Hokage. We Uchiha can't be mercenaries forever, we have to have our own careers. We must be strong, so strong that Konoha dare not ignore us. Why is our Fire Nation always invaded by other countries, but still strong? Advertisement, because our Fire Nation is the richest and most affluent. Our Fire Nation has countless lives to consume. The Fire Nation can sacrifice countless people, while other countries will decline if they sacrifice a little. We must develop the economy, increase the population, let Konoha beg us to become Hokage. Kawasaki's words were loud and clear, and Shisui's Mangekyō Sharingan released his pupil power like mercury pouring down. The pupil power of distinguished heavenly gods is already consumed, not to mention facing so many people. Just inciting these people, Shisui next to him had tears of blood in his eyes, but fortunately he had the pupil power amplifier to assist. The third elder Takuya was standing by, and seeing that Shisui was about to collapse, he immediately shouted loudly. Develop the economy. Revitalize Uchiha. Seeing the enthusiastic response from the tribe, Shisui collapsed after mobilizing the distinguished heavenly gods to issue an order to pledge allegiance to Kawasaki. Hokage's office. And Anbu was reporting. Report to the third generation, Uchiha gathered for no reason today. Most of the participants were Uchiha radicals, and the purpose of the gathering was unknown. But soon after the gathering, the slogan of Revitalize Uchiha was heard, which was extremely fanatical. The third generation rubbed his forehead, looking a little tired. Isn't the Uchiha trying to show goodwill? With so many guards, Uchiha also withdrew. What on earth is Fugaku doing? Boom. A loud noise was heard in the distance, and a strong chakra pressure spread out. The third generation's expression tightened. That was the Uchiha settlement. Smoke and dust rose above the Uchiha settlement, and Anbu quickly received the message from the summoning beast. Third generation master. Stop the fighting inside Uchiha, which has a wide range of impacts. The ones who are doing it are Uchiha Itachi and Fugaku. The ninjutsu used by Uchiha Itachi and Fugaku is too powerful, and our scouts can't get close. Suspected to be the legendary Susanoo. The third generation's hands clenched into fists. Gather Anbu and go to the Uchiha settlement immediately. The third Hokage teleported and jumped out of the window. Bang, bang, bang. The third Hokage heard a series of deafening noises halfway. Arriving at the Uchiha clan's territory, the scene in front of them was even more shocking. Advertisement large tracts of Uchiha buildings were destroyed into rubble. In the dust that covered the sky, a huge orange-red Susanoo collided violently with another dark purple Susanoo. The two behemoths collided with a loud bang, and the explosion like shockwaves spread around with dust. How is this possible? The third generation was stunned. How could Susanoo be so terrifying? The third generation naturally recognized Susanoo, and the second Hokage Senju Tobirama had also explained it to him in detail. This is a powerful force that only the Uchiha who opened the Mangekyō Sharingan can master. It is known as the power of God. Fugaku and Itachi are both masters of Mangekyō Sharingan? Fugaku has not revealed any for so many years. How old is Itachi? He has also become a strong man in Mangekyō Sharingan. And Shisui. There are 3 Mangekyō Sharingan holders in the Uchiha family. Before their eyes, nearly half of the Uchiha territory has been reduced to ruins. The 3rd generation was in a state of anxiety. The 4th generation died unexpectedly, Orochimaru defected, and Tsunade and Jiraiya were not in the village. Could they expect other ninjas to fight for Uchiha? The dust obscured their vision, and the pressure of chakra was so strong that no one could get close, let alone understand the internal situation. Itachi's voice was faintly heard from the smoke and dust. Father, what is there to be attached to in such a Konaha? If they dare to attack Shisui, the next target will definitely be you. Fugaku shouted. Shut up, Uchiha has been a part of Konaha since the village was founded. Shisui's incident was just an accident, and the 3rd generation will give us. The following words were drowned by the dust, but then there was another loud rumble in the field. More and more people gathered outside the Uchiha territory, and the first to arrive were the Hyuga clan. Hizashi opened his Byakugan, and what came into view were 2 huge chakra aggregates. It was impossible to tell what was going on inside. Others couldn't even get close. After a long time, the 2 Susanos disappeared. In the smoke, Itachi's voice was faintly heard. I'm sorry, father. Then it gradually became quiet. At this time, the 3rd generation waved and everyone rushed in. Chapter 19 Kawasaki's Wisdom. Fugaku was seen sitting on the ground weakly, with sweat on his forehead and a pale face. It was obviously due to chakra overdraft. The 3rd generation jumped into the field and quickly ordered the medical ninja around him to treat him. Once the chakra of the medical ninja enters the body of the ninja, it can detect a lot of information. Therefore, medical ninjas from other tribes are usually not allowed to treat their own people. But Fugaku was unusually cooperative. He said weakly, it's unfortunate for our family, 3rd Hokage. Inuko and Shisui have defected. At this time, the medical ninja winked at the 3rd generation, suggesting that it was only chakra overconsumption, and there was no other injury. The 3rd generation secretly calculated in their hearts. At this time, a figure jumped into the center of the field. Looking closely, it turned out to be Uchiha Kawasaki. Master, I took advantage of you fighting Itachi to move our clan members to a safe area. There are only minor injuries, and the rest are all fine. The 3rd generation's eyes flickered, and then said, what do you mean by that, Fugaku? Many Konaha shinobi go out for training. Now Itachi wants to go out for training, and it's not impossible. Kawasaki seemed to be stunned, and then he suddenly realized and echoed, yes, Itachi went out for training with Shisui. Don't worry, master. Fugaku seemed to have not recovered from this series of blows, staring blankly at the devastated family territory. Kawasaki supported Fugaku and said to the 3rd generation, Master 3rd generation, we Uchiha are deeply sorry for the chaos caused this time. But now the clan leader is seriously injured and needs timely treatment. We will leave first. The 3rd generation nodded in agreement and let Kawasaki take Fugaku away from the scene. Other ninjas arrived one after another, seeing the destruction all around. Everyone couldn't believe their eyes. If they said it was an attack by the tailed beasts, they would have believed it. Who would have thought that it was the amazing destructive power displayed by the 2 Uchiha? Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the 3rd Hokage fell into deep thought, and everyone was waiting for his decision. Finally, the 3rd Hokage glanced at the surrounding ninjas, and did not read the intention of fighting from their eyes. There were only flickering eyes and retreating figures. The 3rd generation took a puff of cigarette and slowly exhaled. Tonight, the Uchiha only left, not rebellion. The 3rd generation made a conclusion for tonight's events. The surrounding ninjas breathed a sigh of relief and began to look at the Uchiha territory, which was mostly destroyed. The Uchiha territory is expanded every year. Every year, more tribesmen died in battle, and the actual residential area is quite vacant. Moreover, Kawasaki seemed to have evacuated his tribesmen in advance, and there were only wounded people on the Uchiha side, and no one died. Was this an accident or a carefully planned drama? Fugaku returned to his residence with the help of Kawasaki. He was not pretending to be so weak. He had already activated the Mangekyō Sharingan many years ago. Advertisement after his vision deteriorated to a certain extent, he found that it could not be reversed, so he did not activate the Sharingan for a long time. To this day, his pupil power still exists, but it is not abundant, and summoning Susano requires a lot of chakra. Just now, Fugaku maintained the huge first form Susano, which consumed a lot of chakra. Although only some family buildings were destroyed, maintaining the huge Susano form almost exhausted him. As for Itachi, the situation is similar. He just awakened the Mangekyō Sharingan not long ago. Even Susano was temporarily taught by Fugaku. The half-destruction of the territory also made Itachi almost comatose. After all, Itachi is only 11 years old, and his body cannot withstand such a powerful chakra skill. Fugaku touched the edge of his blurred vision. It seems that his vision has deteriorated again. Kawasaki, can the 3rd generation see through this drama? Kawasaki shrugged indifferently. Of course they can see through it. Our strategy is not a conspiracy, but an open conspiracy. Even if the third generation sees the clues, they dare not tear their faces apart at the moment. First, Uchiha has taken the initiative to hand over power. Second, because we Uchiha, have 3 pairs of Mangekyō Sharingan. Now is the critical moment when Cloud Shinobi comes to negotiate. If our Uchiha 3 pairs of Mangekyō Sharingan rebel against Konaha, even if Konaha can win, it will suffer heavy losses. At that time, Cloud Shinobi will no longer come to negotiate, but to destroy the village. Now, we just need to act according to the plan. Fugaku endured the discomfort in his eyes, discussed the follow-up plan with Kawasaki, handed the task of appeasing the tribe to the 4th elder, and fell asleep. In the root base, Danzo was carefully reading the report in his hand. The report details the heavy losses suffered by the Uchiha clan during this encounter. You mean, such a large area of destruction was caused by only Fugaku and Itachi? The subordinate answered affirmatively below. Yes, Lord Danzo, most of the buildings in the family territory were destroyed, and the traces on the scene were like the fierce battle between multiple cage-level masters. Is the power of Mangekyō so strong? Danzo paced back and forth. Before, Shisui only told him about the distinguished heavenly gods. Besides, even if Shisui was forced to show Susanoo, it would not be as shocking as this. He naturally didn't know that Uchiha's Susanoo had different stages. Besides, Shisui was in poor condition at the time and his fighting will was not strong. So Shisui used Susanoo very conservatively. How many people did Itachi take away? Replying to the Lord, the exact number has not been counted yet, and Uchiha is not cooperating. The preliminary estimate is hundreds of people. What did the 3rd generation think? Danzo lowered his eyes and hid in the dark, without showing his emotions. The root responded. The 3rd Hokage said that what happened tonight was just a runaway, not a rebellion. Danzo heard this and slammed his cane on the ground. Humph, 3rd generation, you are old after all. You actually want to protect an ambitious person like Uchiha. Send someone out and spread the news in the village tomorrow, saying that the 3rd generation is incompetent, and Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui led everyone to defect. Yes. Advertisement after the men withdrew. Danzo stepped into the darkness, with a greedy glimmer in his eyes. Mangekyō. In the Hyuga family, Heishi, Hizashi and other elders examined the investigation report in their hands. The extent of the damage to the Uchiha territory is like the ravages of the tailed beasts. Can our Hyuga family achieve this level? As one of the 2 famous families of Konaha, the Hyuga family has always been on par with the Uchiha family. During the 3rd Shinobi World War, the 2 sides were also equally powerful. Although slightly inferior in numbers, the Byakugan's detection ability is highly valued. Mist Shinobi was excited to get a Byakugan. It can be seen that the Byakugan is also powerful. However, now it seems that the Uchiha clan has 2 powerful Mangekyō. One of them is the clan leader Uchiha Fugaku. The other is even more amazing, Itachi, who is only 11 years old. His future growth potential is immeasurable. Clan leader, Uchiha sent this morning. Heishi opened it and saw that it was a letter of recommendation from Fugaku. The general content was that Fugaku was unable to continue to manage the guard team due to injury and recommended Hizashi to take over the position of captain. The rest of the part was some ideas and plans for the future development of the guard team. Obviously, it was prepared in advance. After Heishi read it, Hizashi and other elders of the main family also circulated it in turn. Everyone tacitly understood that Fugaku meant to completely withdraw from the power layer of Konaha. Although Fugaku had hinted before, it was unexpectedly so sudden. And the method was so decisive. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that the destruction of the Uchiha territory was intentional. Those houses are almost empty. There are almost no casualties. In a real battle, how could the other side evacuate its personnel in advance? I feel that since Uchiha Kawasaki came back, Uchiha Fugaku has become a different person. Hizashi said. Everyone present is a smart person, and they have seen what Fugaku did before and what Fugaku did after Kawasaki returned. Everyone agrees that Kawasaki is very wise. Chapter 20 Obito, Itachi. Heishi spoke last. Anyway, the current Uchiha have completely given up their former power. And Itachi has taken a large number of people with him, so there is no reason for the village to target them anymore. Fugaku gave us such a great gift before leaving, so our Hyuga family cannot be disrespectful. Heishi paused for a moment. There are still a few Uchiha people in the guard team, so let them continue to manage their own areas and double their salaries. Then he changed his tone. Hizashi, who else will enter the ninja school this time besides Hinata? Is Neji here too? Hizashi thought for a moment. Yes, clan leader, besides Hinata, there are Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji. He read out the names of the children of this group of big families one by one, including Naruto. Neji is 1 year older than Hinata. As a big family, they usually know the backgrounds of the same batch of students in advance. Establish connections in advance to pave the way for the future. Heishi nodded and said, it doesn't matter if they are 1 year older. They are in the same school anyway. Let Neji and Sasuke get along well. Yes, Sarutobi Hiruzen, do you regret it? Speaking of regret, the 3rd generation did have some regrets in their hearts. He witnessed the huge destruction on the scene with his own eyes. He knew the destructive power of Uchiha. While feeling lucky that they didn't really fight, he also regretted why he didn't treat Uchiha better. Now Uchiha is unwilling to continue dealing with him. He received Uchiha Fugaku's resignation and recommendation letter early in the morning. The resignation letter stated that he failed as the clan leader, which led to a disagreement with Itachi, who chose to leave Konaha. He resigned and recommended Hisashi to take over the guard team. At the same time, he stated that no one except Hisashi could do it. In addition, it was a statement of Uchiha's relocation. Due to the damage to the territory, the Uchiha clan decided to move to a place 5 kilometers outside Konaha village to rebuild. This 5-kilometer distance is meaningful. Why? Because the detection barrier outside Konaha village has a maximum range of 5 kilometers. Uchiha's meaning is very clear. There is no need to protect us under the pretext of detecting the barrier. We are responsible for our own safety. But at the same time, please stop monitoring us, we are happy. Since you do not define Itachi as a traitor, the Uchiha clan still belongs to Konaha, but just lives farther away. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the pile of documents in front of him. Feeling more tired than dealing with a day of political affairs, Fugaku not only resigned himself, but also several senior members of the security team resigned at the same time. Advertisement among them are the 3rd elder Uchiha Takuya and the 4th elder Uchiha Hinata, who left the village with Itachi. The Uchiha clan has disappeared from the management. Only some branches of Uchiha are left, at the bottom, and the number is sparse. It is estimated that the Uchiha deliberately stayed to look after their property. In the past, the 3rd Hokage tried his best to suppress the Uchiha clan in the guard team, and spread rumors to make the villagers suspicious of them, fearing that once the Uchiha forces grow and gain more power, they will run for Hokage. But now, the Uchiha simply no longer participates in this game. If you, Hokage, don't let us Uchiha take power, then we will no longer covet it and give up. As for Uchiha Itachi's departure, whether it was Fugaku's instruction or Kawasaki's strategy, it is difficult to determine. Because this move directly hits the vital point of Konaha. First, the Uchiha family publicly stated that someone tried to steal their precious Sharingan, which forced them to leave their hometown. Secondly, show strength and deter all ninja clans through the amazing power of Mangekyō Sharingan. Let everyone understand the high price to pay for fighting Uchiha. Then, to reduce the threat, Itachi's departure took away a large number of Uchiha's elite. The Uchiha were no longer as numerous as before, and any attempt to command them would be met with the excuse of lack of manpower. Moreover, if someone really attacked the Uchiha had at least 3 pairs of Mangekyō Sharingan to fight back. More importantly, Itachi's whereabouts are uncertain and he may show up at any time. Finally, the timing is a problem. Konaha is now negotiating a peace agreement with Cloud Shinobi. At this critical moment, if the 3rd generation sends Senju to deal with Uchiha, his ruling position will be shaky. Now Uchiha is just leaving home. If they are forced to rebel, Cloud Shinobi may not come to sign a contract, but to start a war. This is all caused by Danzo's cleverness in digging out Shisui's eyes, otherwise how could things turn out like this? You know, Itachi and Shisui are both loyal to the village. In the dense forest of the Land of Fire, tap tap tap. More than 100 Uchiha tribesmen shuttled through the forest. At the forefront of the team is the 3rd elder Uchiha Takuya. Ever since he foresaw the future in Kawasaki's illusion, he has been deeply convinced by Kawasaki and took the initiative to assist the Uchiha tribesmen who left. Although Itachi is strong in combat, he is still young and inexperienced, so Takuya's assistance adds to his security. Most of the more than 100 tribesmen are members of the Hawk faction. The rest are Uchiha people with special talents. They have all been selected by Kawasaki and have had their minds changed by the distinguished heavenly gods. Advertisement now, they are all devoted to Uchiha Kawasaki and are working hard for the future of Uchiha. These Uchiha people are all ninjas, mainly Chunin, with fewer Jonin and Genin. These more than 100 people are nearly half of the tribe's combat power. As for the other nearly 1,000 civilians and their families, they did not leave with them. They plan to consider whether to migrate their families after consolidating their foundation outside. Whether the Uchiha who stays in the village or the Uchiha who leave the village, both sides have their own problems. A figure jumped to Itachi's side and handed him a string of 3-color meatballs. Itachi took it expressionlessly. You don't have to follow. Although the words were cold, he put the 3-color meatball into his mouth. Uchiha Izumi had a faint smile on his face. If you leave, there will be no one to accompany me to eat 3-color meatballs by the river. Since that time Itachi invited Izumi. Izumi finally understood Itachi's intentions and decided to follow Itachi before the truth was revealed. The Uchiha tribesmen around seemed to be deaf, and even dispersed a little to leave room for the two to talk. Itachi remained silent for a long time, and his face changed slightly. Finally, he chuckled and said, "There are many new delicacies in Kawasaki's plan. I will treat you when they are ready." Izumi responded with a sweet smile, with only Itachi's figure in his eyes. The journey was difficult, and Itachi's destination was the small country of Tadanoku at the edge of Konaha. There was a small ninja village there, Ōtsutsuki. The other people selected by Kawasaki before could not reach it on foot, so they had to find another way. At this time, Itachi seemed to sense something. Stop. Uchiha Itachi clenched his fist. The tribesmen behind him stopped. In the open space ahead, the space was distorted, and a masked ninja emerged from the Uzumaki. Itachi looked at him alertly. "You're the one wandering around the shrine, right?" Obito chuckled. "I didn't expect you to be so perceptive. Did you notice me then?" Itachi's tone was cold, tepid, indifferent and distant. He waved back, and the other Uchiha tribesmen passed the two of them without saying a word and continued to move forward. Only Itachi and Obito remained in place. Obito did not stop the others from leaving, and his target was Itachi. Itachi will be more convenient to move if he wins over Itachi to his side. Chapter 21 Tsukuyomi, Uchiha Madara? I heard about Shisui. Konaha has long been decayed. It is not wise to stay in Konaha. Itachi remained silent, as if he did not want to talk. Obito was slightly surprised by Itachi's reaction, but continued. "Join us, for the future of the ninja world. Uchiha Madara." Itachi shouted. Obito was suddenly startled. Why did Itachi suddenly shout? Just when Obito looked at Itachi. Tsukuyomi. Without any trial, he used his full pupil power. The surging chakra poured out. Obito's eyes blurred and he was already in the world of Tsukuyomi, which was intertwined with black, white and red. "Itachi, how did you know?" The bound Obito looked indifferent, and seemed not surprised at all that he was caught in the illusion. It was Itachi who mistook him for Madara, which made him feel a little interesting. Itachi stood in front of him, silent, holding a knife ready to stab. Obito snorted. The power of Mangekyō Sharingan burst out. However, the illusion only trembled a few times and then returned to normal, and Obito was shocked. The blade entered his body, and he felt severe pain, but the illusion was still not broken. He opened his eyes, returned to the wooden stake, and slashed again. Is this Itachi's Mangekyō Sharingan's eye technique? Kai. Another knife stabbed in. Obito groaned, and his mental power was also depleted. It must be admitted that Obito's mental power is extremely strong. He was tortured in the illusion for 7 days and still able to stand. But his Sharingan has depleted his mental power. It has degenerated from the Mangekyō state to 3 Magatama, and then fell from the 3 Magatama and completely close. Obito had just left Tsukuyomi, and his spirit had not yet recovered, and a kunai had pierced his throat. Ambitionist. Obito's figure became illusory and disappeared on the ground. Itachi looked at the place where Obito disappeared, without any surprise. Itachi covered his eyes and stood unsteadily. He took 2 steps back and leaned against the tree trunk. Tick-tick. Tick-tick. Tears of blood fell from his eyes, staining his clothes red. The severe pain continued until the Uchiha returned to find him. Izumi treated Itachi's wounds with heartache, while others stood guard around. Soon, Izumi's treatment began to take effect, at least Itachi could stand normally. It's not advisable to stay for long, go, advertisement. Kawasaki had told Itachi about Obito's background. Therefore, Itachi went all out and used all his eye power to maintain Tsukuyomi, vowing to make Obito lose the Sharingan state. Itachi knew that this man manipulated the 9 tails, making Konoha suspicious of Uchiha for a long time, and hated him to the core. Obito also had an unshirkable responsibility for Sasuke's death in the future. Itachi poured all his available eye power into Tsukuyomi, which was a desperate attack. Fortunately, it worked. Since Obito likes to play Uchiha Madara, let him do it. This incident today was a vivid lesson for Obito. At least it can make Obito stop thinking about Itachi. Itachi is no longer alone now. He has hundreds of fans and Izumi behind him. In Kamui space. After the illusory fluctuations, Obito stood up with his face covered. Look at you, it seems that you have suffered a loss? A figure swayed left and right like an unfolded aloe leaf, Black Zetsu said slowly. The mask was taken off, and the Sharingan in Obito's left eye had turned gray and lost its function. Black Zetsu was very surprised. You even used Izanagi? Is Itachi so powerful? Izanagi. The power of the Uchiha clan to reverse fate can rewrite all disadvantages, but the price of this technique is that the Sharingan loses its light. Originally, Obito's space-time ninjutsu Kamui could almost occupy a great advantage in various ninjutsu and physical battles. But he had a big shortcoming, which was that he could not resist illusions. So in the past, Obito did not dare to be arrogant outside at first. Until Uchiha Itachi was calculated by Danzo, the Uchiha clan was destroyed, Fugaku died, Shisui and Itachi were gone. Advertisement Obito came out without scruples, because without Mangekyō Sharingan, there was no threat to him in illusion. Sasuke, on the other hand, is a typical ninjutsu-type ninja, not a master of illusion. I didn't expect that when he just met Itachi today, before they finished greeting each other, Itachi gave him a ruthless move. Although Itachi was suspected of sneak attack, he had to admit that Itachi's illusion was too restrained for him. It was just a temporary mistake. Obito stood up. Fortunately, Itachi didn't know Izanagi, otherwise it would be dangerous. Obito took out the blind Sharingan. He didn't want to be recruited by you? Black Zetsu asked curiously. I don't know. I thought Itachi was different, but I didn't expect that he was a madman like other Uchiha, and he attacked me right away. Obito's tone was full of annoyance, as he had never experienced the night of genocide. In fact, there were not many spare Sharingans on hand, and now one less is lost. Aren't you crazy too? Black Zetsu was silent for a moment. Are you still going to attack Itachi? Obito shook his head. Let him go. Uchiha Itachi is so powerful. It's better for him to leave Konoha. It will be more convenient for us to catch 9 tails in the future. Obito should feel lucky. If Shisui hadn't recovered from the exhaustion of his pupil power before, he would have to give him the entire distinguished heavenly gods. Cloud Shinobi Village. Killer Bee and Wooden Golem, who were about to set off, were called back by the 4th Raikage. Brother, why did you call us back again? Yo, you fool. The one who spoke was Killer Bee. Every time he spoke, he had a weird tone. Let's not talk about his rap talent for now. He is really in love with AP, even though others think it is sarcastic. I is no longer surprised by the way this brother talks. As the 8 Tails Jinchuriki, he has suffered enough in the village, and a little hobby is nothing. We got the news that Uchiha Itachi left Konoha with half of the Uchiha elites. Did the crazy Uchiha finally lose control? Yo, you fool. Several major ninja villages have undercovers in each other's territory. After all, the village is so big that undercovers are inevitable. Therefore, they knew 2 days ago that Konoha Danzo dug out Shisui's eyes. After this incident, Konoha almost became the object of ridicule of the entire ninja world. Killer Bee has no political cells at all. Not to mention that he is young now, even decades later, he is still a political novice. So he can't see through the twists and turns. But Wooden Golem is much smarter than Killer Bee, and she immediately grasped the key points. Has Konoha been weakened again? Should we change our target to Uchiha? I shook his head. The situation has become complicated. Then he handed the information to Wooden Golem. Killer Bee looked up and noticed the photo of the mighty Susanoo. Is this Susanoo? Yo, you fool. After reading the information, Wooden Golem learned that although Uchiha left the village with more than 100 elites, but the whole tribe had no personnel losses except for the buildings. It also revealed that Fugaku and Itachi were both Mangekyō Sharingan masters. Chapter 22 Showdown. Uchiha is strong. Although the current Uchiha and Konoha are at odds, they have not publicly broken up. And Itachi's departure may be due to some deal with the 3rd generation. If the war really breaks out again, it is still unclear whether Itachi and Fugaku will help Konoha. But they will definitely not help Cloud Shinobi, at least not for now. After all, Cloud Shinobi's finances are completely overwhelmed, so they will take the initiative to seek peace. Now this has happened. Raikage-sama, what do you think? The Raikage tapped the Uchiha on the intelligence. Our original plan remains unchanged, but we must pay attention to the movements of Uchiha. The current Uchiha is very strong. Although the nominal leader of the delegation is Killer Bee, he is just a mascot, after all, he is Ai's younger brother. The real leader is the Wooden Golem next to him. The Uchiha broke up with Konoha, and the 3rd generation is old and weak. The 2-tailed beasts Jinchuriki, it is not a problem to go to Konoha to protect themselves. Whether they are going to negotiate or have other intentions depends on the other party's situation. The great changes in the Uchiha clan have caused many villagers to talk about it. Various rumors have also spread. It is said that when the 9 Tails rebellion broke out, it was Danzo who did not let Uchiha fight, and he was ostracized in the past few years on the grounds of protecting the villagers. It is said that the young master of Uchiha left because Danzo dug out Uchiha Shisui's eyes. But the 3rd Hokage only punished Danzo verbally. Whether Danzo assists the Hokage or not is just an empty title. Isn't he still serving as his advisory elder now? Another rumor is more interesting. It is said that Uchiha has long been dissatisfied with the village, and the 3rd generation is incompetent, which led to the rebellion of Uchiha Itachi and Shisui. Now the 3rd generation is soft-hearted and only says that Itachi ran away and is not worthy of being Hokage. On weekdays, these rumors may be echoed by some people. But before that, Uchiha Shisui did not rebel even after his eyes were dug out. Everyone scoffed at the rumors that discredited Uchiha. If they wanted to rebel, they would have rebelled long ago. Why would they wait until today? Besides, villagers are most sensitive to daily life. Konoha has only a few commercial streets, and the places where the Uchiha clan is on duty have the best public security. Patrols are frequent, work efficiency is high, and they have rich experience in handling emergencies. Advertisement the second is the area in charge of the Hyuga family, where people are gentle and have white eyes. Accidents far away cannot escape the observation of the Hyuga clan. Although the handling is a little slow, everyone can still accept it. The worst is from the 1st street to the 4th street. It is said that Danzo's men are in charge. When encountering things, they don't distinguish right from wrong, just arrest people and detain them. Those men are cold and cruel, and breaking hands and feet is the norm. Now everyone is not willing to walk from the 1st street to the 4th street, and it has become much quieter there. Originally, people had no special impression of the elder Shimura Danzo. But now everyone knows what kind of person he is. If you want to be a Hokage, you have to show your real ability, don't frame Uchiha all the time and discredit the 3rd Hokage. If Danzo didn't hold the title of Konoha's advisory elder, the villagers would have spit at his door long ago. Although Danzo himself realized the problem and asked the root of the guard team to be gentle when enforcing the law. But those deep-rooted habits can't be changed easily. In addition, the villagers have a deep prejudice against roots, and it is difficult to change the image. The Uchiha clan is now busy hiring a construction team to rebuild the family territory. However, the location chosen is a bit far from Konaha. Of course, Uchiha also built a road as soon as possible to facilitate the movement of clan members who opened shops in the village. Although it added a little trouble, the business is much better than before. People from other villages no longer looked at them strangely, so the Uchiha people accepted it. This road was made of high-quality stones and cost a lot of money. Many people think that the Uchiha really had a lot of money to build such a good road. In comparison, the construction of Uchiha's own territory seems to be careless, and the building materials used are only average. The level is ordinary, and there is no high-end atmosphere of a big family. The decoration is also quite simple, and the newly built house can be described in 2 words, simple. These are the results of Kawasaki and Fugaku's discussion, because there will be a guy coming to Konaha to carry rice later. If the range of carrying rice is wider, no matter how well it is built now, it will become a ruin by then. With the development outside, this place will be abandoned sooner or later, so why build it so beautifully? Kawasaki has been studying the food snacks of the Land of Fire. After understanding the food situation in this world, he copied all kinds of Chinese food in the plan. Of course, the main structure is the main one, advertisement. Kawasaki worked in catering training in his previous life, and his mind is full of food recipes. However, here, the specific operation, material selection and finished products all rely on Itachi and others to keep trying. In addition to the different materials, the taste preferences of people in this world must also be considered. Fortunately, the Uchiha has accumulated enough funds over the years, which is enough for them to tinker with for a while. If the money is not enough, Itachi and Shisui can work part-time as bounty ninjas. After all, such high combat power does not need to be wasted. There are many bounties on the black market, and ability is the fastest way to make money. Isn't that how the Akatsuki Organization started? Although it was all squandered by Konan, the prodigal woman. It has been a while since Itachi ran away from home. As time goes by, the topic of Uchiha has gradually cooled down. Kawasaki, who had paid attention to public opinion before, is actually quite busy himself. Because the faction template in his hand has a new function. In the template, the avatars of people who are loyal or close to Kawasaki will be highlighted. After clicking it, there is a dream button, currently including Fugaku, Takuya, Hinata, Itachi, Shisui and some Uchiha people. Kawasaki clicked on Fugaku's avatar frame, and the battle option below was further subdivided into categories. He tapped the physical technique button. Dream construction in progress. Dream construction completed. Uchiha Fugaku physical technique. Kawasaki lay on the bed, closed his eyes and entered the martial arts training ground. Fugaku appeared on the opposite side and began to demonstrate his physical skills one by one. Each move and style was full of Uchiha style, gorgeous and full of skills. With the help of Sharingan, the movements flew up and down, and it was hard to imagine that a strong man could be so coordinated. After Fugaku finished the demonstration, he leapt towards Kawasaki. Kawasaki instinctively wanted to use the body replacement technique, but found that the chakra could not be adjusted. With a bang, Kawasaki exploded like a shadow clone. Kawasaki opened his eyes and found that he was still in the bedroom. Oh, it turned out to be a virtual training room. Kawasaki opened the faction panel again and saw that Fugaku's avatar was dark, with a countdown next to it. You can only simulate once a day. He clicked on Itachi's taijutsu again. Dream construction in progress. Dream construction completed. Uchiha Itachi taijutsu. Kawasaki closed his eyes again. Back to the training ground. Opposite was Itachi wearing Enbu clothes and carrying a sword. Itachi first demonstrated taijutsu like Fugaku, but he went a step further and demonstrated the use of kunai and shuriken. Precise control of them at high speed. Guide the direction of shuriken through steel wire. And use kunai to collide in the air to change its trajectory. After the demonstration, Itachi rushed towards Kawasaki like Fugaku. But at the same time, he threw many kunai and shuriken at high speed. This time Kawasaki was mentally prepared and was quite vigilant at first. With the help of Mangekyō, Kawasaki was also very calm to avoid Itachi's kunai and shuriken. Chapter 23 Reikage, Kawasaki's way to make money. I am somewhat talented, Kawasaki thought. Bang, the sound of kunai hitting. Hiss. The sound of steel wire pulling. The kunai that Kawasaki had dodged changed direction again and headed straight for where Kawasaki was dodging. The shuriken took advantage of the steel wire to make a detour, blocking Kawasaki's path. Kawasaki managed to escape with great difficulty. And Itachi threw another kunai, not only hitting the kunai in front. The other steel wires tightened at the same time, blocking Kawasaki's retreat on both sides. While Kawasaki used his sword to block the shuriken, the steel wire had already wrapped around him. Itachi approached him. With one slash, Kawasaki turned into smoke. Advertisement Kawasaki suddenly opened his eyes. Itachi's throwing of hidden weapons is simply at the level of art. Kawasaki didn't believe in evil, and picked the fourth elder Hinata again. Dream construction in progress. Dream construction completed. Uchiha Yanping Taijutsu. Kawasaki closed his eyes again after a long time, Kawasaki opened his eyes and took a deep breath. In the dream, Yangping was already in his twilight years. Even with Yangping like this, Kawasaki had to work very hard to fight him to a draw. That's right, it was not a victory, but a mutual destruction. As expected, those who have been on the battlefield are all very good. However, on the faction panel, Uchiha Yangping's taijutsu item disappeared. Advertisement. Kawasaki scratched his head. Try something else. He clicked on Yangping's ninjutsu, dream construction in progress. Dream construction completed, Uchiha Yangping ninjutsu. Kawasaki had experience this time. After entering the dream, he saw Yangping standing and explaining the ninjutsu he mastered. Most of them were tricks to play with fire, and a few were tricks to play with soil. Kawasaki's strongest point was ninjutsu, but he only knew how to play with fire. He has no idea about playing with soil. There's no way, he is not born with soil. If you insist on using it, it will be a thankless task. Kawasaki tested it a long time ago. He only has the ability to play with fire and electricity, and his level of playing with fire is much higher than that of playing with electricity. Following the ninjutsu gestures taught by Yangping, and guiding Chakra to run the right way, he successfully released the trick of playing with fire. Chapter 24. The Child of Destiny. The Power of Sharingan. He also tried playing with soil, and found that the soil skills in the dream did not become weaker because he was not good at soil. When Kawasaki tried all the skills, he did not usher in the ninjutsu showdown he expected. Instead, he was pulled out of the dream directly. Elder Yangping still had a genjutsu left that he had not had time to show. Kawasaki clicked in and it was almost the same as before. Dream is being built. Dream is built, Uchiha Yangping Genjutsu chapter. As soon as he entered the dream, he still had a class on how to use and resolve genjutsu. The previous owner's genjutsu was not very good, although Kawasaki finished the class quickly. But he was still dizzy, but Kawasaki's eyes were too powerful. Yangping used genjutsu on him, but Kawasaki used his eyesight to fight back. Kawasaki came out of the illusion again. Kawasaki found that in the faction list, under Uchiha Yangping's avatar, the icons of taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu were all gone. There was only a real battle button left. Kawasaki was full of fighting spirit and clicked it again. Dream is being built. Dream is built. Uchiha Hinata real battle. He entered the dream again. But this time it was a real fight. Not long. Kawasaki opened his eyes again, his face not looking good. I didn't expect that old man Uchiha Hinata had such a vicious experience. He set a trap with darts and treasure spells. I was caught in the trap when I was not careful. In the end, I won with Susanoo. My real battle was worse than I thought. I opened Hinata's page again, and the real battle button was still there, but it was cooling down. It seems that the real battle can be challenged repeatedly. Kawasaki thought so and turned his target to the third elder Uchiha Takuya. He plunged into the dream again. The morning sun shone in, and Kawasaki opened his eyes with empty eyes. The time in the dream was actually synchronized with reality. After a night of hard work, Kawasaki felt exhausted and very sleepy. He was busy all night, except for dealing with the elderly Elder Yangping. He also lost the actual battle with the third elder Takuya. Of course, Kawasaki didn't use Susanoo. As for Fugaku, Shisui, and Itachi, they didn't give him a chance to fight, and he lost in the physical stage. As for ninjutsu, although there was no real sword in gunfighting. But if you practice it wrong, chakra will run around in your body, and you will explode into smoke if you are not careful. In terms of illusion, Kawasaki's talent is simply terrible, and he can't understand many things. Kawasaki tried many times, and finally had to accept the fact that he was a novice in illusion. However, he has a strong eyesight and can get rid of illusions in a very short time. But when it comes to performing illusions, his skills are very rough. He can only hold on to those Uchiha masters with 3 Magatama, or Uchiha Kiming with 2 Magatama. Most Uchiha masters have no obvious weaknesses. In taijutsu, the Uchiha with the fastest swordsmanship is Yogetsu. His movements are as fast as the wind, and his attacks are fierce, which is completely different from his usual dull appearance. Itachi is the most accurate dart thrower. The skill of darts colliding and changing directions requires extremely high observation skills. Shisui is naturally the best at illusion, fighting against Shisui. Kawasaki felt like a fool, being controlled by the illusion at a glance. If Mangekyō had not had a strong eye, he would not even have had the room to fight back. After being beaten up all night, Kawasaki was exhausted. Looking at the faction list, almost everyone's dreams entered the cooling period. Kawasaki closed his eyes and fell asleep this time. After waking up, Kawasaki went straight to the training ground to stretch his muscles. Then he continued his dream simulation. As a result, Kawasaki spent every day in the training ground except sleeping. Sometimes, when other Uchiha saw Kawasaki at the training ground, Kawasaki would just move his body and leave. But whether it was taijutsu or ninjutsu, it amazed the people present. With such efficient training and actual combat in dreams, Kawasaki made rapid progress. Now Kawasaki is like a veteran who has been through many battles, no longer a jonin who has to fight hard for an ordinary task. However, Kawasaki cannot learn the unique skills of Mangekyō Sharingan. And Kawasaki's own Mangekyō skills have no signs of awakening. Kawasaki is not in a hurry, and waits slowly. Before, the pupil power of 3 Mangekyō was injected into his eyes. As a result, Kawasaki's pupil power is particularly strong, and it is increasing all the time. Now Kawasaki is getting stronger even if he does nothing. Advertisement not to mention that he fights with Fugaku, Shisui, and Itachi in his dreams every night. Kawasaki, who had just enjoyed a few days of leisure, was caught by Fugaku, who insisted that Sasuke worship him as his master. Because the situation was unclear before, Fugaku originally planned to send Sasuke out of the village, but was stopped by Kawasaki. Kawasaki's reason was that there were too many ambitious people in the ninja world now. Unless there was Mangekyō Sharingan to protect Sasuke, it would be more dangerous for Sasuke to be alone outside. Just kidding, if Sasuke was not in Konaha, how could he establish a bond with Naruto, grow together, suffer setbacks, grow again, suffer setbacks again, and grow again? But this was just a chess move by Kawasaki. Although Sasuke and Naruto are both children of destiny, they are the reincarnations of Indra and Ashura chakra in their bodies respectively. In terms of qualifications, you say he is good, but he only opened 1 Magatama when his family was destroyed. You say he is not good, but he became 3 Magatama after hanging out with Naruto for a year. The remaining 2 to 3 Magatama are all related to Naruto. Only by becoming a teammate or opponent with Naruto can you improve quickly. According to the original plan, Sasuke should have opened Mangekyō long ago. He fought Itachi in a fair duel, and finally fell to Itachi. This is the only way to relieve Sasuke's hatred and help him achieve eternal Mangekyō. As a result, when Sasuke fought him, he only had 3 Magatama. For Itachi, the battle with Sasuke may be the most difficult in his life. He had to take into account Sasuke's chakra, his own chakra, his lifespan, and eyesight. And he had to prevent Sasuke from noticing. His skill of letting go can be said to have reached perfection. Sasuke had a hard life. His family was destroyed when he was a child, and his brother deceived him. He was allowed to live with false hatred. Little Sasuke never thought about these things, whether they were reasonable or not. Why did Konaha have no reaction to the destruction of the Uchiha clan, and where did Anbu go? Without anyone to guide him, his mind became extremely unstable after the destruction of his clan, and he was both proud and inferior. After gaining more power, he became confident and arrogant. Every time his strength improves, his mentality becomes arrogant. With Mangekyō, he thinks he is invincible. He always likes to skip levels to challenge big bosses, and dares to confront Mangekyō with 3 Magatama. Mangekyō goes up to fight 8 tails, and the eternal Mangekyō wants to challenge Rinnegan. As a result, every time he gets impulsive, he will be beaten up. How many years did Itachi practice the Mangekyō Sharingan? And Sasuke, his Mangekyō Sharingan opened and his eyesight declined in less than a month. The actual use time, calculated by fingers, is no more than an hour. Is it the power of Sharingan that changes people's mentality, so that they fight anyone they see and show no mercy? Until the end, he and Naruto sealed Kaguya together. Kawasaki felt that luck played a big role in his journey. But fortunately, all this did not happen, and Sasuke did not have to endure those hardships. Kawasaki does not have to put all his hopes on Sasuke alone. After all, Itachi is still there. Itachi has a strong learning ability. Whether it is kunai or shuriken, his skills are far superior to those of ninjas of the same age, and his hand seals are astonishingly fast. In battle, he can always cleverly use the opponent's offensive and play the battle situation in the palm of his hand. After joining Anbu, his strength growth rate even surpassed Kakashi, who was hailed as a genius. When he defected from the village, he had reached the level of a cage-level strongman. His illusions are particularly penultimate. A glance can resist the attack of Konaha's illusion master Yuhi Kurenai, and a Tsukuyomi instantly subdues Kakashi. Even Orochimaru, one of the old Sannin, could not escape Itachi's illusion and could not move. Advertisement: he has a calm personality and can always remain extremely calm. In battle, he quickly analyzes the enemy's weaknesses, has strong on-site judgment, and always grasps the key to a comeback. If he can grow up healthily, his stability may exceed Sasuke. The only regret is that his physical condition is not good, so Kawasaki arranged for him to go to the land of fields. Shisui also became famous at a young age, and opened the Mangekyō Sharingan earlier and faster than Sasuke. His attainments in illusions are even better than Itachi's, and he is also extremely agile. Except for the extremely powerful ninja in Cloud Shinobi Village and the guy who mastered the spacetime ninjutsu. Almost no one can match his speed. If he had not died young, his achievements in the original world would be immeasurable. Therefore, Kawasaki also regarded him as a key training target. In view of this, Kawasaki is no longer so concerned about Sasuke's training. With your brother Itachi and Shisui in charge, you can rest assured. However, Fugaku came to ask for help in person, and Kawasaki would seem unkind to refuse again. After all, although there is the assistance of the system, all decisions still depend on oneself. And Fugaku's full support from beginning to end is the reason why things are going so smoothly. As the reincarnation of Indra, Sasuke is still just a child now, and Kawasaki wants to see if he can save him. If Sasuke could be more calm, he would undoubtedly be a powerful fighter in the future. Sasuke had just been brought back to the village, and he learned that the family had undergone earth-shaking changes during his absence. The respected elder brother Shisui had lost an eye. The family added a deputy chief, and the adored brother fled the village, taking many Uchiha people with him. His house had been destroyed and turned into ruins, but fortunately his father and mother were safe. His 5-year-old head was completely unable to understand all this suddenness. He walked alone on the street, depressed. Even though he was sad, he tried to maintain a cool look. After all, he was a member of the Uchiha clan. When the villagers saw him, their eyes were filled with complex emotions, but more of them were kindness. After all, Sasuke was just a child, and his family had just suffered a huge change. In the eyes of ordinary people, these changes were tantamount to the beginning of the fall of a prominent family. Although Sasuke did not understand the meaning behind these eyes, he was very unhappy in his heart. He ran faster and unconsciously came to the grove he often visited again. Before he got close, he heard the screams and curses of children. "Get out, you demon fox, who wants to play with you? Just wait, I will definitely become Hokage, ha 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 ha, you want to become Hokage? It was you, the demon fox, who killed my father. Beat him, beat him." Sasuke ran through the woods and saw several children fighting. Several children rode on Uzumaki Naruto's back and beat him. Naruto's face was covered with tears, but he still refused to admit defeat and kept struggling. "Hey, who allowed you to bully people?" Sasuke walked out of the woods. "Who are you? What's it to you?" Sasuke put his hands in his pockets. "I am Uchiha Sasuke. Let him go immediately, otherwise you will bear the consequences." Chapter 25. Please treat Naruto to noodles, Uchiha Kawasaki. Uchiha. The kids looked at each other and then burst into laughter. "What's so great about Uchiha, ha 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 ha. Uchiha is no longer good. The young leader of your Uchiha clan has run away, and you are still showing off your power here. Damn it." Sasuke was furious when he heard this. "I will teach you a lesson today." Sasuke rushed forward and punched the child riding on Naruto. Naruto took the opportunity to get up. He was covered in mud, but it seemed that he was fine. The two of them teamed up to deal with the other 3 children. After all, Sasuke was from the Uchiha clan, and he was different from Naruto's random punches. His physical skills were already in good shape, with a trip and an elbow. He knocked down 2 of them, while Naruto was still dealing with the remaining 2. Naruto knocked one of them to the ground with his fists. Seeing that they could not get any benefit, several children pulled each other to stand up and ran away. "A demon fox, a traitor to the family, you wait for me." Only Naruto, with his face covered with dust and tears, was left in the forest. Although Sasuke was neatly dressed, his face was not good. Sasuke put his hands in his pockets again. "Hey, crybaby, why are you so embarrassed?" Naruto put away his sad expression. "Huh, arrogant boy, where have you been recently? I haven't seen you at the lake." Sasuke and Naruto have known each other since childhood. Sasuke often practices fire style by the lake, but Naruto hasn't seen Sasuke recently. During this period, there have been constant rumors about Uchiha. For children, the negative news is always spread. No matter which world, these little guys always have the same temper. "My father asked me to go out for a while. I was locked in my room every day. I was so annoyed," Sasuke said casually. Naruto asked carefully, "Sasuke, is there something wrong with your family?" Sasuke wanted to lose his temper, but seeing Naruto's cautious look, he just snorted coldly. "No, we Uchiha are fine." For Naruto, he has been bullied since he was a child. He envied Sasuke because Sasuke's relatives were with him. And he himself was just an orphan without a father or mother, and only the 3rd Hokage grandfather came to see him occasionally. He didn't understand a lot of things, and didn't understand why people called him a demon fox. He also didn't understand why people didn't want to make friends with him. Advertisement. But Sasuke, Hinata, Shikamaru, they never bullied him, and they were close friends. He was very worried that his friends' families would have problems and become like him, an orphan with no one to care about. At this time, while Naruto and Sasuke were talking, several Anbu were standing quietly on the branches not far away. They were arranged by the Hokage to monitor Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Naruto around the clock. Naruto's every move, meal, and words were recorded and reported to the 3rd Hokage. Although Sasuke and Naruto knew each other before, the Uchiha at that time was different from now. Therefore, when Sasuke approached Naruto, an Anbu member had already gone to the Hokage to report. While Naruto was being monitored, there was another person on the tree next to him, Uchiha Kawasaki. He accepted Fugaku's request and planned to take Sasuke as an apprentice, but wanted to see it with his own eyes first. What kind of child is Sasuke, who has not experienced the night of his family's extermination? From the fight just now, Uchiha Sasuke is a little arrogant but kind-hearted. Sasuke received an elite education at home, and now practices shuriken every day, and even knows fire style. However, he sent several children away with just physical skills. Later, he went to comfort Naruto. Kawasaki observed for a long time, stroking his chin and thinking, it seems that his previous impression of Sasuke was wrong. After Sasuke's family was destroyed, the property was taken over by Konaha village. No one guided him, and it seemed that he could not be blamed for his later extreme behavior. Little Sasuke, who had not experienced the tragedy of extermination of his clan, was actually a very cute child. Well, it is not too late to correct his view now. Kawasaki jumped down from the tree directly, scaring Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke, remember me? He showed his Sharingan. Sasuke was a little nervous at first, protecting Naruto behind him, and then he relaxed after seeing Kawasaki's Sharingan. Those who have Sharingan are people of the same clan. I am Kawasaki, you have seen me before, Kawasaki said with a smile. Sasuke looked at Kawasaki carefully, and gradually overlapped with the image of Uchiha Kawasaki in his memory. No wonder he couldn't remember clearly, because Kawasaki had only seen Sasuke a few times in his original identity. Ah, you are Kawasaki Sr., Sasuke suddenly recognized Kawasaki. Then he said hesitantly, I heard that Senior Kawasaki is now the deputy chief? Kawasaki is not used to putting on airs, he is serious in the tribe to establish prestige. But there is no need in front of Sasuke, he replied helplessly. What deputy chief or not, just call me Senior. Advertisement, Sasuke said happily. Yes, Senior Kawasaki. Kawasaki looked up and looked around, and asked, didn't I tell you to go home as soon as you returned to the village? Why are you still here? Sasuke heard a lot of rumors as soon as he entered the village. So he walked here in a depressed mood. Don't say, you must be hungry, I'll take you to eat. Kawasaki rubbed Sasuke's head. Okay. Sasuke was a little reserved, but he couldn't avoid Kawasaki's hand. Naruto stood aside, with envy and a hint of gloom in his eyes. Then Sasuke, I'm going home to eat too. Naruto tried to cheer himself up, not wanting Sasuke to notice his depression. Maybe there's a pack of instant noodles left at home to fill his stomach. Wait a minute. Kawasaki smiled kindly. You're Sasuke's friend, right? Naruto sniffed. Yes, uncle. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, the man who will become Hokage in the future. Uncle? Kawasaki couldn't help but smile bitterly, as his body age was the same as Kakashi's. In this world where teenagers can go to the battlefield and get married early, it's common to be called an uncle when you're almost 20, but Kawasaki doesn't like it. He ignored Naruto's words, as he had secretly looked at Naruto before. He was wearing shabby clothes and looked haggard. If it weren't for the Uzumaki clan's strong physique, Naruto would definitely get sick if he didn't die, given his lifestyle of often going hungry and drinking expired milk. Sarutobi Hiruzen is really bad, he cursed inwardly. Kawasaki smiled and said, since you are Sasuke's friend, how about I treat you to ramen? Oh, really, uncle? Naruto was full of surprises. Usually, the third Hokage didn't give much money. He could only eat ramen once in a long time. Kawasaki saw Naruto's happy look and despised the third Hokage again in his heart. Of course it's true, but don't call me uncle, call me Kawasaki Sr. Kawasaki squatted down and rubbed Naruto's head. Chapter 26 Lord Kawasaki. Come out Kakashi. Oh, okay, Kawasaki-senpai. Naruto had been looked down upon since he was a child, and he had a vague idea of who was sincere to him. At this moment, he was really happy to meet an adult who did not despise him. Let's go, Sasuke. Let's go eat something first. Kawasaki waved to Sasuke, who was putting his hands in his pockets to act cool. Humph, what a hassle. Although he was arrogant, seeing Naruto's happy expression, Sasuke did not say no. Kawasaki looked up and took the two of them out of the woods. The Anbu members hiding in the trees looked at each other in bewilderment. Uchiha Kawasaki, this is a big shot, and now he is the deputy chief of the Uchiha clan. He had previously brought shame to the entire Hokage system. Now he actually approached Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Report to the Hokage immediately. Yes, Ichiraku Ramen Restaurant. The door curtain was lifted, and Kawasaki led Sasuke and Naruto in. There were no other customers in the store, only Shota and Ayame. Uncle Ichiraku, I'm here again, Naruto shouted as he entered the door. Sasuke turned his head slightly embarrassed and pretended not to know Naruto. Uncle Ichiraku looked kind and said with a smile, Naruto, you are here, what do you want to eat today? Uncle. Under Kawasaki's stare, Naruto swallowed the word, uncle. Kawasaki-senpai, can I have tonkatsu ramen? Naruto asked shyly. Kawasaki was studying the menu at this time, sliding his fingers on the menu. He said, forget about tonkatsu ramen, is it not possible? Naruto lowered his head a little disappointed. Give Naruto a grand slam. Kawasaki ordered the most expensive ramen, in addition to ramen. Many kinds of steaks, chicken, eggs, barbecued pork, etc. were added, making it the most luxurious ramen set. Oh, long live Senior Kawasaki. Naruto had never eaten a grand slam. The best thing he had eaten before was pork bone ramen. Kawasaki looked at Naruto's face full of happiness because of a little food, and couldn't help shaking his head. Give me a bowl of pork bone ramen, Sasuke, order whatever you want. Advertisement at this time, Kawasaki felt a chakra passing over his head. Kawasaki didn't look up, is it the third generation's clairvoyance technique? Oh, you didn't see me when I was taking care of Naruto, but now someone is approaching Naruto, you run faster than anyone else. Slurp. Slurp. Naruto made a sound of eating noodles and was very happy. Kawasaki finished a bowl of pork bone ramen, and the soup was indeed delicious. But he was not used to it, so he could only make do with it. Sasuke ordered some snacks to enjoy on the side. Just when Naruto was about to finish eating, the door curtain was lifted again. A ninja with a silver hedgehog head and a mask came in and sat in the corner. "Boss, please, a bowl of miso chashu noodles." Kawasaki turned his head and glanced at Kakashi. Tisk. So nervous? Even Kakashi was sent here. Burp. Naruto burped and put his hands together. "Thank you for the hospitality." The physique of the Uzumaki clan is not exaggerated. The bowl of this Grand Slam ramen is 2 circles bigger than Naruto's head, and the ingredients inside are also quite rich. Even he himself needs to spend some time, but he didn't expect Naruto to have finished it, and Naruto is only 5 years old now. Naruto likes to eat ramen, on the one hand, because the ramen here is delicious. On the other hand, Shota and Ayame are the few people who don't discriminate against him. In addition, the price of ramen here is relatively cheap. Naruto can only afford this. "Naruto, are you full?" Kawasaki asked with a smile. Kawasaki Sr., I'm full." Naruto patted his bulging belly, and he had never been so happy. "Naruto, I heard that you often make trouble?" someone asked. Sasuke was confused and thought, "We just met today, how can we hear it?" But Kawasaki gave a look, and Sasuke immediately shut up. Naruto scratched his head a little shyly. After all, he couldn't tell Kawasaki that it was just a little prank to attract everyone's attention. "Sorry, Kawasaki-senpai, I won't be naughty anymore." But Kawasaki didn't blame him. Instead, he waved to Ayame. "Please sell the bill." Advertisement. Kawasaki took out 20,000 tael bills and handed them to Ayame. Ayame waved her hand quickly. "A total of only 320 taels will be enough. Ichiraku ramen is already affordable. In addition to the deluxe version of 200 taels, Kawasaki and Sasuke's portion is only 60 taels each." Kawasaki waved his hand. "Save the rest here. Naruto and Sasuke can eat as they please in the future, and the expenses will be deducted from this." "Is this okay?" Ayame turned her head and saw Kawasaki smiling and nodding before taking the money. "Naruto, I've deposited money here. You and Sasuke can come and eat whenever you want." "Kawasaki-senpai, how can this be possible? I can't take your money." Naruto was quite surprised. Kawasaki's face was stern. "Who gave you money? You are Sasuke's friend. Are you going to sit and watch Sasuke eat? The ninja school is about to start. You two have to go to class every day. It's more convenient to eat here." This? Naruto felt something was wrong in his little head, but he couldn't put it into words. Kawasaki smiled and said, "Sasuke doesn't have many friends. It depends on you to play with him often. Also, don't make trouble anymore. Study hard at school." "Oh, okay. I'll often play with Sasuke in the future. I'll work hard to study." Naruto didn't think about things he couldn't figure out. The first time someone asked him for something, he felt a sense of power, and his heart was warm and happy. Sasuke pouted at the side. "Who cares if he comes to play with me, huh?" Kawasaki was used to Sasuke's little scenario, shook his head, and led the 2 children out. Kakashi quickly finished his noodles and followed closely behind Kawasaki and the others. Just now, Grandpa Hokage urgently called him back to see why Kawasaki was being nice to Naruto for no reason and what his intentions were. As a result, Kawasaki asked Naruto to finish his ramen and took him to Konaha 8th Street. That street was full of Uchiha's shops. Today, Konaha 8th Street is the most lively because Uchiha's guards are patrolling nearby. Everyone who met Kawasaki saluted respectfully, "Master Kawasaki." Kawasaki waved his hands in response one by one. When they reached the corner of the street, Kawasaki felt that Kakashi and the others were getting anxious, and more people from Anbu were coming. Kawasaki didn't want to confront Anbu head-on for the time being, so he took out a stack of money from his pocket and gave it to Sasuke. "Sasuke, you haven't been back for so long, go buy some new clothes, buy a few more sets, and buy 2 sets for your good friend Naruto. I have something to deal with, see you later." Kawasaki winked at Sasuke, and Sasuke rolled his eyes, not quite understanding. Kawasaki walked out and told the Uchiha tribe next to him, "Someone from Anbu will come to see Naruto in a while, you don't have to worry about it." "Yes." The Uchiha guard saluted. Kawasaki walked a little further and said to the person behind him, "Come out, Kakashi." Chapter 27 Third Generation. Sasuke and Naruto. Kakashi showed up. "Uchiha Kawasaki, Deputy Chief, do you know me? What is your purpose in approaching Naruto?" Kawasaki looked Kakashi up and down. Kakashi was dressed in Anbu at this time. He was not wearing a mask, and his forehead protector covered his left eye, revealing a hollow and weak look. Thinking of the hard life Naruto had lived in recent years, Kawasaki felt disgusted with Kakashi. He suddenly teleported in front of Kakashi and kicked him down. Kakashi didn't expect to be attacked suddenly, and fell to the ground without being prepared. Kawasaki spat fiercely. "Bah, I've been disliking you for a long time." Then he breathed a sigh of relief. "This is refreshing." Kakashi stood up, with an angry face. "Kawasaki, why did you attack me?" Kakashi was very restrained, worried that Kawasaki would deliberately provoke, and the relationship between Uchiha and the village was tense and delicate. Kawasaki said sarcastically, "Why attack you? Because you are ungrateful, hard-hearted, and admit." Kawasaki pouted and swallowed his words. "Me? Ungrateful?" Kakashi was puzzled. "I don't even know you, how can you be ungrateful?" Kawasaki touched his chin and looked at Kakashi from head to toe and from bottom to top. "This guy, is this Hitaki Sakumo's son? Aren't you Namikaze Minato's apprentice?" "So what? This is not a secret, Uchiha knows it." "You still remember that you are Namikaze Minato's apprentice?" Kawasaki said sarcastically. "You don't see that his orphan is bullied and eats spoiled food every day?" Kakashi was silent for a moment. It was the order of the third-generation adults, Naruto. "Oh, nonsense, don't mention those nonsense about his identity being kept secret." Kawasaki was impatient. "What does this have to do with him eating junk food and spoiled food every day? He has grown up without a few decent clothes, and he doesn't eat well or wear warm clothes. The third generation really takes care of the fourth generation orphans, and you really take care of your master's son. Watching the third generation occupy your master's inheritance, watching Naruto starve and suffer, drinking expired milk, and eating lunchboxes mixed with sand, you are indifferent, right? You still say you are from the Hitaki family, it's disgusting." Kakashi was speechless, there was really nothing to say. After Obito's death, he was extremely depressed, like a walking corpse day after day. Mechanically completing tasks every day, not taking good care of himself, let alone Naruto. What the third generation says is what it is, no need to think, and can't think. Kakashi cheered up. "This is not the reason for you to get close to Naruto." Advertisement. Kawasaki waved his hand. "When I was a child, Sister Kushina helped me. I just want Naruto to eat well and wear warm clothes. You think too much, I'm not that bad. It doesn't matter how Anbu monitors me." Kakashi's expression was complicated and relaxed. Kawasaki put his hands behind his head and walked leisurely to the 8th Street. But in the future, if Naruto feels that Uchiha treats him better, it is Naruto's choice. Kakashi was shocked. "Here, 2 pieces. This is also 2 pieces. These are all 2 pieces, packaged separately." When Kawasaki returned to the 8th Street, Sasuke was choosing clothes in a clothing store. Naruto already had several bags in his hands, filled with shoes, pants, etc. Sasuke waved the banknotes and directed the clerks to run around. As a Uchiha store, he naturally knew this young patriarch. The service was extremely attentive, and Sasuke was generous and never bargained. He would buy anything he liked. Bang! Kawasaki tapped Sasuke on the head. "Ouch. You kid, how can you buy things like this?" Sasuke pouted, not very happy, but soon happily handed the item to Naruto, and the two chatted happily. Kawasaki was not stingy with the money. The Uchiha family was rich, so buying a few more clothes was not a big deal. The important thing was not to let Sasuke develop the bad habit of bossing people around. Naruto widened his eyes and looked at the clothes excitedly. These were things he would never dare to think about. But at the same time, he felt a little embarrassed. "Senior Kawasaki, these." Kawasaki waved his hand. "You are Sasuke's friend, so there is no need to say anything else." Naruto's eyes flashed with light and nodded heavily. "Yeah. Hello, Lord Kawasaki." In addition to the clerk, there were 2 members of the Uchiha guard team next to them. "Look at you two, you are so idle." The 2 Uchiha smiled reluctantly. Sasuke and Naruto were not simple, so how could they not keep an eye on them? Kawasaki also realized this. He looked up at the sky, it was almost dusk. In the corner of the roof, several Anbu members stood quietly. "It's getting late, Sasuke, come home with me. Naruto, you should go home early too." "Oh, then can I go play with Sasuke tomorrow?" Naruto asked expectantly. Advertisement. Sasuke has something to do in the next 2 days, so he can't come out to play. Seeing Naruto was a little disappointed, Kawasaki smiled and said, "School will start in 2 days, so we can see each other, right?" Yes, school will start soon. Naruto smiled innocently. "Remember to wear new clothes to report, it's a new beginning." "Yeah." Naruto felt that this was the happiest day in many years. Kawasaki waved to the side. "Uchiha Kenichi, you can take Naruto home." "Yes." Uchiha Kenichi stood at attention. "Kawasaki Sr., you don't have to take me home, I know the way myself." Naruto said embarrassedly. Kawasaki rubbed Naruto's head. "Be obedient, go back quickly." "Oh, Naruto giggled again, holding the clothes. Uchiha Kenichi wanted to take Naruto's things, but Naruto refused to let go. "Then I'm leaving, Kawasaki Sr., goodbye, Sasuke, see you at school." Naruto carried a bunch of things and waved goodbye. Kawasaki waved. "Go." Sasuke also waved to Naruto. He had never seen Naruto so happy. Let's go back." Uchiha Kawasaki said Uzumaki Kushina had done him a favor. He just wanted Naruto to eat well and dress well, and hoped that Naruto and Sasuke would become good friends. According to Anbu's surveillance along the way, Kawasaki did not have any other abnormal words or deeds. The third generation took a puff of cigarette a little irritably. He didn't believe that Kawasaki would be so kind. As for Kushina's favor to him, it was many years ago, who can tell whether it is true or not. Kakashi hesitated for a moment and said, Kawasaki mentioned at the end that if Naruto thinks Uchiha is better in the future, it is Naruto's own choice. The third generation frowned and thought, now the Uchiha clan is becoming more and more alienated from Konaha village. The data from the task center also shows that the number of tasks accepted by the Uchiha clan has dropped sharply. In addition to the decrease in the number of Uchiha ninjas, the remaining members have also become extremely cautious when accepting tasks. They took the initiative to lower the level of tasks and did not accept any dangerous tasks. When encountering mandatory tasks, they asked for leave, and the third generation could do nothing about it. They had to repair their own houses. You can't let people have no place to live and do things for the village. Now Kawasaki suddenly approached Nine Tails Jinchuriki, which made the third generation highly alert. Is the Uchiha planning a collective defection, and even wants to take Naruto with them? Chapter 28 Teacher Kawasaki. Hokage-sama, Naruto has had a hard time these years. Seeing the third generation in deep thought, Kakashi couldn't help but say. The third generation took a puff of cigarette and asked, Kakashi, are you blaming me, an old man, for not taking good care of Naruto? Although the third generation spoke in a calm tone. Kakashi still bowed his head and apologized. No, third generation Sama must have your considerations. The third generation nodded, and Kakashi's emotions still needed to be comforted. He explained to Kakashi earnestly, Kakashi, you don't know that after the fourth generation passed away, everything was in ruins. There are ambitious people in the village who have different ideas about the Jinchuriki issue, and some even proposed to imprison Naruto. I fought for it in many ways, so that Naruto didn't have to be locked up all the time. But once someone leaked the secret that Naruto was a Jinchuriki, I had to spread the rumor that he was the son of a demon fox to confuse the public. Many villagers lost their loved ones in the Nine Tails Rebellion, so he was always ostracized. As for his identity as the son of the fourth generation, it cannot be made public, because if the son of the shadow is a Jinchuriki, it is easy to become a target for others. Over the years, I have often visited him, as a way to make up for some of the debt. Later, the voice of the third generation was also a bit heavy. Kakashi learned about the difficulties of the third generation and couldn't help but feel sorry. I'm very sorry, third generation, I didn't know the inside story, but I questioned you. The third generation waved his hand pretending to be relieved. Since Naruto has become your master's son, I understand that you care about him. Let's put it this way, Naruto's past days were really too hard. Now Uchiha's intention to approach him is unclear. You will be responsible for taking care of him for a long time in the future. Except at school, you will accompany him, so as to prevent Uchiha Kawasaki from doing anything. With you around, I will also feel at ease. Kakashi was pleasantly surprised. He was originally uneasy after hearing what Kawasaki said. Now that he can protect Naruto personally, Naruto should not be bullied in the future. Then third generation, am I protecting him secretly? The third generation thought for a while. You can find an opportunity to get close to him, and it would be best if you can become Naruto's teacher. Thank you, third generation. Kakashi thought that the third Hokage took care of him and arranged this job for him. Go down. After Kakashi left, the third generation sighed and asked Kakashi to look after Naruto. It was a helpless move. After all, Uchiha had approached Naruto in this way. If he didn't send someone to keep an eye on him, Naruto might really be taken away. Advertisement and Kakashi is a loyal supporter of the Hokage faction, with outstanding ability and suitable status, and is the most suitable candidate. Although Naruto talked a lot on the way, Kenichi remained silent and only nodded occasionally. It's not that he was indifferent. Most of the Uchiha with bad tempers left Konaha with Itachi. Kenichi actually belongs to the moderate Uchiha. The reason why he didn't speak was because the Anbu around him were watching, and he didn't want to cause trouble to the Uchiha family. After all, Naruto is Nine Tails Jinchuriki. After making sure that Naruto arrived home safely, Uchiha Kenichi left under the supervision of the Anbu. Goodbye, Uncle Kenichi. Naruto waved behind Kenichi, even though Kenichi didn't say much on the way. But he didn't show any discrimination. This was enough to make Naruto, who was lonely and sensitive, happy. Uchiha Kenichi didn't look back. Naruto waited until Kenichi walked away before entering the house. But at the entrance, Naruto turned on the light. Dirty clothes were scattered all over the house, and the sink was full of unwashed dishes. The floor was also a mess, with garbage everywhere. Naruto looked around the messy house. Looking at the packaging of the brand new clothes and shoes, a strange feeling surged in his heart. The environment that he used to take for granted now seemed particularly dirty and messy. He carefully hung the new things and the packaging on the hook. Then he rolled up his sleeves, fetched water, and started to clean the house. It was late at night, but the lights in the room were bright, and Naruto was full of energy and vitality. The Anbu members outside the house looked at each other, wondering why Naruto suddenly had the urge to do housework late at night. However, as long as Naruto didn't run around, no matter what he was doing, they didn't worry too much. Anyway, they would report to their superiors. Children's moods always change quickly. Sasuke, who was in a good mood before. As Kawasaki walked towards the ruins of the original tribe, the smile on his face quietly faded. The new settlement was still farther away, and it would take several miles to reach it. Advertisement. Sasuke's little head was full of questions, and he wanted to ask his father for answers one by one, so he unconsciously quickened his pace. Kawasaki was thinking about Kakashi, who was undoubtedly talented. But he was also bound by the so-called Wall of Fire. Born into a famous family, he was devastated after the Battle of Konaha Bridge, wasting his talent. Although the transplantation of Sharingan greatly improved his combat ability in the short term, it also limited the height he could reach. Not to mention that he could not shut down the energy consumption for a long time, since he could copy everything, it was easy to breed inertia. He often played a supporting role until the end when he experienced the power of Obito's double Kamui. Most of the time he seemed dispensable and too indecisive in character. Obito committed many crimes, including killing his master and his wife, attempting to destroy the ninja world, and causing countless families to fall apart. Kakashi showed mercy when he first fought him in Kamui space, and only punched him twice in the abdomen symbolically. Because the opponent was Obito, he couldn't be cruel. If he could be cruel at that time, the story might have gone very differently. Being good to Naruto is a strategic investment for Kawasaki. But at the same time, he also sincerely believes that the childhood Naruto experience was the most tragic. Many pains should not be endured, and many hardships should not be faced. The dark political struggle between the third generation and Danzo was forced to involve an innocent child. Praising suffering is more cruel than suffering itself. If Naruto was surrounded by love, there would be no so-called troubles of Nine Tails losing control. The kid next door who was addicted to playing with sand has gone crazy, which shows Madara. Naruto's childhood was not much easier than Gaara's, although he was spared from assassination. But every indifferent face of the villagers is like an invisible sword. Fortunately, Naruto is Ashura's reincarnation, otherwise he would turn evil in an instant, and Konoha would be the first to bear the brunt. Father, I'm back. Kawasaki took Sasuke back to the newly built tribe land. There were unfinished buildings everywhere, but Kawasaki did not treat the workers harshly and always let them finish work on time. After all, overtime means extra expenses, and the Uchiha family is happy to be able to live now. Fugaku had already learned about Sasuke's return and was drinking tea in the house. Seeing Sasuke come in, he rarely smiled. You're back, how are you getting along with teacher Kawasaki? Chapter 29 Get Space Teleport. Kawasaki followed Sasuke into the house. Teacher? Sasuke was confused because Kawasaki never mentioned asking him to become a disciple. Fugaku frowned and asked, Kawasaki, haven't you told Sasuke yet? Kawasaki laughed and said, it's getting late. Take Sasuke back first. We'll talk about becoming a disciple tomorrow. I'm leaving first. Kawasaki left Sasuke to Fugaku and left leisurely. After he got familiar with Fugaku, he became more casual and informal because he understood. Fugaku was serious only because of work needs. He was actually a pragmatist. Father, why did my brother and elder brother Shisui leave Konaha? Some people say they betrayed the village. Why was our tribe destroyed? Why did you resign as the captain of the security team? As soon as Sasuke sat down, he couldn't wait to throw out a series of questions, like a string of cannonballs. He was away for half a month, and when he returned, he found that everything in the Uchiha tribe had changed. Fugaku habitually kept a cold face, trying to maintain his dignity in front of his son. But Kawasaki had reminded him that this attitude would only make Itachi and Sasuke more distant from him. Thinking of this, his face softened a little. Your brother and Shisui went out to explore opportunities for the future of our Uchiha. Don't believe everything you hear. If Itachi and Shisui really betrayed the village, why didn't Konoha arrest us? The clan land can be rebuilt after being destroyed. As long as we Uchiha are here, we can build as many clan lands as we want. Seeing Sasuke nod half understanding, Fugaku smiled. As for the position of the captain of the security team, because it is too busy, I always heard you say that no one would accompany you to practice ninjutsu, right? Now that my brother can't come back in a short time, I will accompany you to practice. Sasuke was surprised to hear this. In the past, his father was taciturn and serious. In order to win his father's approval, he had suffered a lot. Now his father said that he would accompany him to practice ninjutsu. He pinched himself to confirm that this was not an illusion. Ouch! Sasuke pinched himself hard, causing Fugaku to laugh out loud. It was the first time that Sasuke saw such an approachable father, and a smile broke out on his face. Then father, when will my brother and Shisui come back? When you graduate from the ninja school, your brother will come back. Ah, it will take so long. Sasuke looked dissatisfied. The ninja school lasted for 6 years, which meant that he would not see his brother for 6 years. It was too long. Fugaku saw that his son was a little disappointed. You are a member of Uchiha, and a little thing made you lose confidence? It's not like you will never see him again. Yeah. Sasuke regained his spirits. Then father, what do you mean by apprenticeship? Fugaku explained. I want you to apprentice to Kawasaki. Apprenticeship? Sasuke tilted his head to think. He had no aversion to Kawasaki. Is Kawasaki-senpai strong? Advertisement, strong? Fugaku savored the word, very strong. He nodded firmly. Is he stronger than his brother? How about Shisui? In Sasuke's eyes, his brothers Itachi and Shisui are the strongest among Uchiha. Kawasaki is the best among Uchiha now. Fugaku believes that Kawasaki is the strongest among Uchiha in terms of wisdom and in terms of martial arts. After opening the Mangekyō Sharingan, Kawasaki will usher in a period of rapid growth. Even if Shisui also has Mangekyō, the age gap is too big, and he will definitely not be able to defeat Kawasaki. The best among Uchiha? Sadly, Kawasaki-senpai in Sasuke's heart was covered with a layer of glory. I think Kawasaki-senpai should be the second among Uchiha. Oh? Fugaku asked curiously. Who is the best? Sasuke said as a matter of course. Of course it's my father, otherwise why is my father the clan leader and Kawasaki-senpai the deputy clan leader? Fugaku was stunned for a moment, then laughed, and the laughter spread far and wide. After being busy with housework all night, Naruto finally fell asleep exhausted at daybreak. He had a dream while he was half asleep. In the dream, he had a father, a mother, and Kawasaki Sr., but they all turned into bowls of Ichiraku ramen. Naruto reached forward and scooped. Ouch, Naruto fell headfirst under the bed. Naruto rubbed his sleepy eyes and planned to get up and wash. There seemed to be a figure standing in the house with his half-open eyes. Wow! Naruto was startled and shouted. Looking closely, it turned out to be the third Hokage. Grandpa Third Hokage, why are you here? Naruto, I came to see you. I heard that you made a new friend yesterday? The third Hokage said with a smile. I guess so. Third generation grandpa, you are talking about Kawasaki Sr., right? He is Sasuke's family, and he hopes I can play with Sasuke more. He is as good as third Hokage grandpa. He took me to eat Ichiraku ramen and asked Sasuke to buy me a lot of clothes. Advertisement. Naruto couldn't wait to share his happiness with the close third generation grandpa, and the third Hokage listened patiently. The third Hokage smiled lovingly and said, then what did your Kawasaki Sr. say to you? Oh, Kawasaki Sr. asked me to get along well with Sasuke and not to be naughty and cause trouble. Naruto slapped his forehead. Third Hokage grandpa, take a look at this. He took out the clothes that Sasuke helped him choose yesterday. Gestured in front of him. How about it, does it look good? Yeah, it looks good. After confirming that Kawasaki didn't instill anything in Naruto, the third Hokage felt relieved and chatted with Naruto for a while. Then, the third Hokage took out 5,000 ryo and gave it to Naruto. Naruto, you have grown up a lot. You will go to school tomorrow. Remember to listen to your teacher at school. You can keep these 5,000 ryo for daily use. Naruto took the money a little confused. Grandpa Third Hokage, why did you give me so much money? The third generation smiled gently. Going to the ninja school requires money to buy various ninja tools. Don't spend it carelessly. Naruto was very moved. Thank you, Grandpa Third Hokage. When I grow up, I will definitely repay you. Ha ha ha, remember what you said, report early tomorrow, I should go. Okay, life seemed to become better all of a sudden. Naruto couldn't help but grin. In the Uchiha tribe. Take tea to your master. Sasuke had no idea about apprenticeship, but he didn't hate Kawasaki. So at Fugaku's urging, he officially apprenticed to Kawasaki as his master today. Fugaku wanted to invite a few friends, but Kawasaki, who disliked formalities, refused. In Kawasaki's words, drinking tea was considered a ceremony of apprenticeship. How much Sasuke could learn was up to him. After Kawasaki finished drinking tea, Fugaku left soon. Although he no longer had to take care of the guards, the reconstruction of the Uchiha clan was a heavy task. Fugaku spent most of his time arranging reconstruction affairs. Of course, this was all on the surface. Fugaku was secretly looking for business talents to pave the way for future planning. Ding! Congratulations to the host for greatly changing the life trajectory of Uchiha Sasuke. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Space Teleport ×1. Chapter 30 Rinnegan. Pointing, Space Teleportation? It looks like the eye technique that Sasuke used in Boruto after he got Rinnegan. It's a one-time use. No matter how much Kawasaki complains, the system won't respond. He can only wait until the tasks of this stage are completed to see if there are any new functions unlocked. After Fugaku left, only Sasuke and Kawasaki were left staring at each other. Master, what are you going to teach me today? Kawasaki scratched his head. He had never thought about how to teach Sasuke before, and he didn't have any specific plans. However, Sasuke will go to school in the future, so it is more appropriate for him to learn basic knowledge in school. At most, he can give Sasuke some private lessons. Let Sasuke grow faster, he also needs to change his habit of pretending. Kawasaki cleared his throat. Sasuke, since you call me master, I will officially teach you from now on. Yes. Master. Sasuke sat up straight. Kawasaki waved his hand. I don't like the restrained way of getting along, don't be so formal. Just treat me as a friend. Okay, master. Sasuke's expression relaxed and his posture was not so strict. Kawasaki said. Now master wants to test you. Sasuke said coolly. Master, go ahead and test me. I'm very powerful. Kawasaki took Sasuke to the empty courtyard. Okay, then Sasuke, attack me now, use everything you know. Whether it's shuriken, kunai, or fire style, you must attack with the intention of killing me. Sasuke knew that there would be a test today and prepared the ninja bag in advance. Master, I'm here. Sasuke crouched down, took out the shuriken, and took a fighting stance. Kawasaki waved his hand, signaling Sasuke to attack. Sasuke threw 2 shurikens with good accuracy. Kawasaki stood still, and when the shuriken flew over, he tilted his head slightly to let the shuriken pass by. Seeing that the shuriken was ineffective, Sasuke rushed forward and performed a set of seemingly complicated movements. It should be the Uchiha family's physical skills. Kawasaki easily blocked with one hand and completely blocked Sasuke's attack. The physical skills of the Uchiha family often exist for the purpose of showing off. With the help of Sharingan, the coordination of the Uchiha clan is excellent. With the help of the observation eye, their battle is as graceful as dancing on the tip of a knife. But now Sasuke is young, weak, and has not opened his eyes yet. In Kawasaki's view, this is similar to doing radio gymnastics, and many gorgeous kicks and rolls are full of loopholes. A random punch hit Sasuke's abdomen. Sasuke's whole body stiffened, slowly stepped back a few steps, knelt on the ground, and spitted before he recovered. Advertisement, it's still a long way to go, Sasuke. Kawasaki said lightly, but this aroused Sasuke's competitive spirit, and Sasuke began to make hand seals. Si Wei Shen Hai Wu Yin Fire Style, Great Fireball Technique. Sasuke took a deep breath and a blazing fire spurted out. The eyes were all red, and Sasuke had not finished blowing his breath. This was even praised by his father, and Sasuke's thoughts were not over yet. Kawasaki had bypassed the firewall and hit Commander's neck with a knife. KKKKK. Sasuke was using his full strength to perform fire style, but was hit on the neck by this blow, and almost couldn't breathe. He coughed for a long time before recovering. Kawasaki stood by and watched with his arms folded. Master. Sasuke was a little nervous, not knowing how the master would comment. Kawasaki thought about it and decided to be strict. Under Sasuke's uneasy gaze, Kawasaki's face turned cold. It's terrible. Sasuke, did you learn these before? How did Itachi teach you and play ninja games with you? Who taught you to use fire style like this? What were you doing just now? Were you setting off fire style as fireworks? I'm sorry, master. Sasuke lowered his head in frustration. Although he didn't expect to win over his master, he at least hoped to get his master's approval. He didn't expect his master to criticize him. Do you know where you lost? Kawasaki asked. Sasuke opened his mouth, but finally lowered his head. Kawasaki glanced at Sasuke's expression and didn't rush to explain. He waved his hand first. In the blink of an eye, a member of the Uchiha family walked into the yard. Go, find a young genin from our Uchiha, the younger the better. Kawasaki ordered. Okay. Not long after, a small Uchiha genin reported in. Judging from his appearance, he was a fresh graduate last year. What's your name? Are your eyes open? Kawasaki asked. Although the information can be found in the family archives, there are so many Uchiha people that he doesn't need to look it up. The visitor replied calmly. My name is Koda, and I haven't opened my eyes yet. Advertisement. Kawasaki nodded slightly. Come at me now, do your best. Uchiha Koda didn't say much and quickly took a fighting stance. Sasuke, watch out, Kawasaki said, and then waved Koda to come over. Koda moved left and right quickly, took out a kunai from his bag and threw it. The strength and accuracy of the genin were not bad. Kawasaki dodged to the side seriously, and when he dodged, Koda quickly formed a seal and used fire-style fireball in the direction of his dodge. Kawasaki was agile and dodged the fireball again. Koda gave up fire style, dodged Kawasaki's hand knife, and rushed towards Kawasaki. Although Kawasaki easily blocked it, he still let Koda attack for a round. When Koda kicked him in the air, Kawasaki kicked him out. Okay, get down, open your eyes, don't be too fancy with your taijutsu. Kawasaki said lightly. Yes, thank you, sir. Koda was very happy and left without asking any more questions. Do you understand, Sasuke? Master, are you saying that I have too many moves? Bang. Kawasaki flicked Sasuke's forehead again. No. Sasuke rubbed his head. The problem is not that you have too many taijutsu moves, or that you are not accurate enough in throwing kunai, or that you don't use fireballs well. It's that you lack control. Control? Sasuke looked up. Yes, it's not a bad thing that our Uchiha-style taijutsu has many moves. More moves means a variety of attack methods. Fists, feet, elbows, shoulders, and knees are all our available attack points. Our taijutsu can be as graceful and gorgeous as dancing on the tip of a knife. But there is a prerequisite, that is Sharingan. Sharingan. Without the assistance of Sharingan, you can't keep up with the opponent's speed, and the taijutsu can't be adjusted in time, then the fancy moves of Uchiha Fluid Jutsu become a burden. Oh, Sasuke suddenly realized that when he was learning Uchiha Fluid Jutsu, Itachi praised him because Itachi had Sharingan. But he himself didn't have Sharingan but imitated these moves, and he couldn't control them at all.